think this is gonna be the best winter market yet. This is the Grace Light Quilt. We had it made especially for this event. Hold it! What happened to the Grace Light Quilt? A game is afoot. Someone has taken the Grace Light Quilt, and we have to find that quilt or winter market is ruined. 5 different suspects with 5 different motives. I can fix this. I promise I'll get it back on track.
How could you? You monster!
We better go tell Janna about this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Winter Market. It is so wonderful to have you all here. We're so excited. This is just an amazing time of the year. We're bubbling with excitement and we're spreading love, joy, happiness, and mysteries today. So hello, welcome. Come on in as everyone joins. We just want to welcome you to the event. We're so excited to have all of you. Good morning from Las Vegas. I am Kena Dorsey, and I am your host today, along with some wonderful segments and just a great event that we have planned for you. My co-host, Janna, hopefully she will pop in soon. She's running around looking for something. More on that later, but she will join us and tell us about some really cool things going on this year. So before we get started, we just want to make sure we say hello to everyone. We're so excited. Beth, hello from Kentucky. Welcome. There's everyone. Good morning. I am coming to you from Palmdale, California. And don't hate me if you're on the East Coast, but I am going to go out on a limb and say that it is cold here today. It's in the 60s. It's 65 degrees. We're not used to this in California. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, let us know. Keep it coming. I see the chat is blowing up. Everyone is saying hello, sending their greetings, letting us know where you're coming from. And I would just like to shout out some of these areas because it's always so exciting to see where we're tuning in from. So Michigan, hello, Brenda. Welcome. We have Sandra from North Carolina. What's the weather like there, Sandra, in North Carolina? It's the East Coast, but it's South, so I'm not really sure. Roxanne, welcome, Roxanne from Kansas. It's so great to have you. We have people tuning in on multiple platforms. So no matter if you're on YouTube or Facebook or the Grace platform, we welcome you. Hello from Myrtle Beach. Oh, wow. I love Myrtle Beach. Been there on vacation. Hello, Donna from Georgia. Welcome, Georgia. Georgia is in the house. Where else are you coming from? Michigan. Oh, Brenda, are you serious? 9 degrees? That's not right. That should be illegal. Oh my gosh, brr. But you know what? That is fitting because it is winter market. What? 20 degrees in Georgia? I thought Georgia was warmer than that. Good grief. It's 40 degrees now. Okay. That's a little better, but oh my goodness. Well, I have my sweater on, my winter market sweater, and in my 65-degree weather, it is keeping me very warm. Well, we are just excited to get started. We have so much planned today. Um, and we're going to have a great day. It's Friday. It's actually Friday the 13th. Who would think that Friday the 13th would land in December? But it has. So we're going along with that theme today. And this year's theme is a holiday mystery, because what better to celebrate the holidays than with a whimsical whodunit to get into the holiday spirit. You know, there's so many things that you can come up missing during the holidays. It's like, who ate my cookies? Where is my holiday stocking? Where are the gifts that I bought? Where's Santa? Where's this? Where's this? But you know what? For quilters, who took my quilt? Where is my quilt that usually is on this sofa during this time of year, right? Where is my throw? So somebody at Grace is running amok, and we will get to the bottom of this. I am quite sure, but it's going to take us a little while. We'll have to watch a few demonstrations. We'll have to watch a few wonderful segments, and then we will get to the bottom of this by hook or crook. So, what are some of the things that you all are looking forward to seeing today on today's event? Is there any particular segment or anything you enjoy? Those of you who are returning, let us know. Give us an idea of what you're excited about, because we may have some new people here. So, for the new folks, if this is your first time, you are in for a treat, because Winter Market event, we share projects, we share demos, we are giving highlights to charity. It is the season of giving. We have giveaways. Yes, Kimmy says the new mini. Guess what? We are giving away wonderful gifts. So if you pre-registered, you are a contender for one of these wonderful giveaways during one of our live segments. But don't worry, if you are here live, we have live bingo giveaways, which are so much fun. And then we also have lots of promotions. So you're in for a lot. You're in for a big treat. Okay, so the TrueCut. Yes, Miss Emmy, I know. It's great. I have one. I hope you get one. Okay, and then Roxanne says, looking forward to projects and maybe learning something new. I'm sure you will. There are going to be some great demos today. All right, so thanks for sharing that. I want to start off with a few announcements, a little bit of housekeeping, right? We are online, so I want to make sure that everyone knows to be careful of scammers. Boo, those scammers are tricky. Watch out for them. We will never ask for your personal information over social media. If something feels like a scam or too good to be true, guess what? It probably is. But if it sounds really, really, really good and you're not sure, just shoot us a private message or an email or call us. We'll confirm if it's legitimate or not. But this is the time of year, unfortunately. So be careful. We'll never scam you. All right, social media. Well, many of you that are here, you're watching us in live time, but there are many ways to follow us on all of our many social media channels. That's where you can engage with us. You can get all of your news. You can register for events and giveaways. Our platforms are Grace Company Quilting. That's where you can find us on Facebook, at Grace Company Quilting on Instagram. You can follow us on TikTok at Grace Company, on YouTube at The Grace Company, and Pinterest at Grace Company Quilting. And just if you're curious, I am your Grace Ambassador, Kena, and you can also follow me on Instagram at Kena Quilts, and additionally on Facebook at Kena Quilts. And you can also see what I'm up to. You can follow me and join my newsletter on my website at www.kenaquiltstudio.com. Okay, so once you get your Grace product, as I'm sure many of you already have or you are going to, we would love to hear what you think about it. We would love for you to leave a review. We want to hear from you. Leave your comments about what you loved about the product. And then it's very helpful. Many people read reviews. There's a lot of things out there. So there's a lot of decisions to make. When we hear your reviews, it makes it easier for others in the community to know what they're getting into. So thank you. Also, we would love you to become a part of our home-based quilter community. This is the place for all of our fans and followers to interact with each other. We share personal quilting stories, and you can join us on Facebook, and you can submit your own stories to our Grace Company website. Now, if you're joining us a little bit late, or if you have to step away, we realize we're taking a nice chunk of your morning and you may have to step away. Don't worry. You can watch the post show on YouTube. So the holiday fun continues. And previously, we kind of make you wait a little bit, but today, guess what? It's available immediately after. We know that you have cakes to cook, shopping to do, stockings to fill, and quilts to make. So you can watch this live stream immediately following today's broadcast. Okay. All right. So now what we're really here for is we're going to go ahead and hopefully Janna can take a break, because we're going to bring on our Grace sales manager, Janna, and promotions and giveaways. Hi, Janna.
Hi, Kena. Thanks so much for hosting our event today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's so great to be here. I'm so excited.
I'm really excited too. I think this winter market is going to be fantastic. We've got some fantastic charities, some wonderful presentations. We've got some new product to talk about. I know we haven't done, I really wanted to get at the beginning part, because people are going to think like, well, I might win that mini quilter, so I'm not ready to buy it yet. So I'm thinking we do the giveaway first before we talk about the other promotion stuff. What do you think about that?
I love it. I switch things up. Let's do it.
Yeah. Because like we always make people wait to the end, and we want people to be able to get it right now. So, so we're going to do the mini quilter giveaway. So for those who aren't sure what the mini quilter is, it's a brand new product we just came out with in November, and it is a smaller frame that fits on any flat surface. It's only going to be able to fit your domestic machines up to 13 inches. So you can see the picture right there. It has that ability to get the carriage on there, and then it has those straps that hold the fabric on there. It will, again, up to 13 inches. So the little Rebel will fit on there, but you can use your other domestic machines as well. We recommend anywhere from 8 to 13 inches. You can do less. You can do 7 inches, or but you're just going to lose out on that throat space because of the rails in the back. But it's fantastic if you're buying it just yourself. We're doing pre-orders right now. We've got some in and we're shipping out as fast as we get them in. So if you've already ordered it, we're trying to get it to you before Christmas. But if you're ordering right now, a friend, a family member, yourself, and you're wanting it for Christmas, just put a little coupon in, a little envelope, and say, this is the prize, this is your present. And then when it comes, it'll even be better because then they can open up and open up the present from there, right?
Yes, I love that. Take a picture of it and then just have them open that for Christmas. And then you're
right.
Coming
and
soon.
Coming soon. It's a great trick, right? Like they think they just got an envelope or a small box, and then they get this nice new frame to work on the quilts. So $299.95 is the price on that one, and we have got a winner that was randomly selected from all the people who did the pre-registration. I heard you as I was coming in that anybody that had pre-registered for the event, that's on the Grace platform, and so you've been put into the drawing for all those. So let's give it away. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we're gonna put it up one more time, the picture of what the mini quilter looks like, so you know what you're winning. And let's do a drum roll, everybody with us. Drum roll, and the winner is
Patty Pierce.
Congratulations, Patty. That is so amazing. Now, because you've pre-registered, we have your information. So you will receive an email from Allegra@graceframe.com. She'll email you to get where to ship it. So you can keep it for yourself. You can give it away as a present for Christmas, but we'll get that contacted to you. Allegra will email you and find out the information. So yes, congratulations, Patty. But everybody else who was like, oh, I missed out. You didn't miss out. You can still purchase from us or any of our dealers. That's the other best thing about our sales. You don't have to just come from us, right?
Absolutely.
Go to your quilting store that is a Grace dealer. And if you don't have a quilting store near you that is a Grace dealer, but you have a trusted dealer in your area for machines or fabric or whatever, and you're like, you know what? You guys need to carry Grace products. Send me an email, Janna, Janna @graceframe.com, and tell me about this fabric shop. Tell me about this quilt shop. Tell me about this sewing machine dealer that you're like, these guys need to carry your product. Janna, please talk to them so that then I can go down my street and purchase all the fantastic stuff from them. Yeah,
Yes.
there's my email right there, Janna@graceframe.com.
That's actually what I did. My local Long Armor didn't have it in their showroom per se, but I went in and they were like, oh yeah, we can get it. And it was super easy. And they came and they installed my machine and my frame and everything. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, and that's the wonderful thing. You have, not only do you have Grace tech and sales team as your help, you also have your local dealer, right? So both of the best of both worlds. But okay, so I want to talk about other specials we've got going on because I got to leave to finish setting up for the rest of Winter Market. But we've got our TrueCut is 25% off. This is everything. The cutters, the blades, the true grips, the mats, all the rulers, all the sharpeners, everything. So this is a fantastic opportunity for your TrueCut line. If you already have some and you're like, you know what, I wanted to get some extra rulers or some extra blades. Or if you're giving people who you love who are quilters, you're like, this is a great chance to do some stocking stuffers, right? Most of the TrueCut products fit in a stocking, maybe not the cutting mats, but you know, again, do that little coupon and then they're surprised what fit in their stocking. But 25% off, again, that's all our dealers have that as well that carry the TrueCut line. And then, Kena, this is the one I know we were super excited about, was automation.
Yes.
Quilter's Creative Touch 6, 20% off. So you can see there's the basic, that's the edge to edge, the $2,399.20, the plus, so the edge to edge just does edge to edge pantograph, the plus does select and slow and pantograph, and then on the screen there in the image is the pro, so you can see it's got the select and sew, it's got the pantograph, it's got the design features like pattern CAD, and then it has the gold card as well. All of that 20% off. And if you already own QCT6 version and you're ready to upgrade, each of those are 20% off. So if you have the basic version and you're ready for Plus, get going. You can get it for 20% off. And this again is available with all our dealers as well as on our site. So this is fantastic. So 25% off TrueCut, 20% off in automation. And then for the special, we're gonna go from today to the 23rd. So right up until Christmas Eve. So midnight on the 23rd, 10% off everything else.
Wow.
So if you've been thinking about a hopping foot, you've been thinking about rear handles, you've been thinking about a machine and frame, they're an additional 10% off. So the only things that are excluded on that is the mini quilter, because that's still in pre-order, the TrueCut because it's 25, we didn't want to make it only 10, and QCT6, which was 20, again, we didn't want to make it 10, but everything else 10% off. So this is a great time. An extra bobbin case assembly, right? Things that you've thought, oh, I really could use that. Put it on your wish list. Tell your family this is the time to take advantage of all those prices that are going on. So yeah, it's going to be a great winter market. I'm so excited. We're going to show this. This is our Grace Light quilt. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. It's so fun. It was specially made and it's so pretty. I love how it goes with the theme. For our winter market, our lovely blue and grays and navy, you know, it's just so much fun. But yeah, so we're going to talk about that. But I think, Kena, we have time before I have to leave to do some bingo prizes.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
We love
Let
bingo.
me pull out my bingo
This
right
is
here.
our-
Dun, dun, dun,
this
dun,
is
dun,
your
dun, dun, dun.
chance. Now,
Yeah.
So Janna's going to ask a question, and all three of our streaming platforms, there's three winners, one on each platform. Now, it's not the first answer, right, Janna?
No, it's not the
It's
first one because we
randomly
can't say who was typing. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
They will randomly select. So I just wanted to talk about what you possibly could win. So if a red ball comes up, it will be for the triangle ruler bundle with some true grips. That's the kite ruler, the 60-degree ruler, and the 90-degree ruler. Fantastic for doing triangle work with your quilt. So that will be if a red ball comes up. If we have a white ball, is the 360 circle cutter. That's fantastic for all your circles, hoops, half circles. I've even seen people take it and make from their circle an apple. They like take an orange peel out of here, an orange peel out of here, put that all together, and then they've got this apple quilt. Or you can do a moon quilt. So much fun. So if a white ball comes up, that's the 360 circle cutter. If the blue comes up, it's going to be the linear sharpener. This is great to have on your cutting table just as you're going along. You don't have to take the blade off. You can just sharpen it on the go, and it doesn't have to be a specific kind. It doesn't have to be our TrueCut cutters. It can be any any cutter.
So any blade.
Any blade. Thank you. So if a yellow one comes up, this will be the electric sharpener. So this is fantastic. This works with only the tri-wing design. You can see right there that blade has three little ports coming off of it because as it spins, it has to catch on it. So if you just have a circle, it won't work. You've got to use the tri-wing design. But that one, $82.95 value. So that's if a yellow one comes up. And then a green one will be the square ruler bundle, the 6.5, 9.5, 12.5 rulers with those true grips. So $64.80. So so many fantastic prizes, right? Okay, so I'm going to, let's see, what do we get here? Ooh, a white ball. So that is our 360 circle cutter. That's going to be our prize for today, this morning with our question. So, all right, everybody get ready.
Okay.
Get your hands on the keyboard so you can type the answer. So the question is, what is the theme for today's winter market?
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to choose a winner from Facebook, a winner from YouTube, and a winner from the Grace platform. So get your your
Yeah,
answers in.
so we mentioned that. So it's good that we kind of start off. This is good. You know, everyone there's probably going to be a lot of answers there. So we'll see what
Yeah,
who is
I'm seeing
randomly.
some come through. Yeah, some of them have it close, but yeah. Oh,
Yes.
someone just said, I just used my circle cutter. Ooh, I love the circle cutter. Yeah.
Okay, so do we have a selection
I think
from
I've seen some come through. So yeah, we're gonna
I've
have
seen
that
come through. Yeah.
generator pick the, let's do Facebook first. So the winner on Facebook for the 360 circle cutter,
Marcinia Duarte. Yeah.
congratulations, Marcinia. So we will have you email allegra@graceframe.com. Okay, so let's do YouTube. Let's go to YouTube and we'll pick
YouTube,
that
yes.
winner.
Who do we have from YouTube? Paula Nevermore.
Congratulations, Paula. Yay. Okay, and then last finally is the Grace platform. We have a winner on that one.
Annette.
And congratulations, Annette. Now, all three of you, please email Allegra@graceframe.com. Let her know how to get you that 360 circle cutter. Hopefully we can get it in time for Christmas. I don't know how shipping's going because you know that's always a toss-up. But I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. Yes. I think we have time for one more, Kena.
Let's do it.
Let's do it? Okay, let's see. Let's get our prize going here. Oh, there we go. We have a blue prize, a blue ball. So that is our linear sharpener. Okay, so the question is, what, and you just have to say one of them, what are one of the 3 items not part of the additional discount of the 10% off? So I talked about 3 things that aren't in that 10% off the whole site. So type. We'll see which we get in there.
Yes. So what are one of the 3 items that's not part of the 10% discount because it's a larger discount?
It's a larger discount or a special item.
It's special.
Yes.
It's a special.
Ooh, we got some coming through
Yeah, I
here.
see answers coming in on all of our streaming platforms.
We'll give
Nice.
it one more second for everybody to type and have all the internet come through all the
Yes.
different places. Because I was seeing people from all over the place. They were watching from Canada and Ecuador and New York and Georgia and Las Vegas and Minnesota. Yeah, everybody was, we're all over the place. Okay.
Of the curl
Let's-
country. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
everybody's watching. Okay, I think we've got enough in there. So the answers are TrueCut, because it is 25% off. QCT6, it's 20% off. And then the mini quilter, because it is on a special $299.95 for pre-order stuff. So those are the 3 answers. So we pick one of those 3. Okay, so let's do YouTube this time first. So let's see who our winner is on YouTube. Kimmy!
Oh, congratulations. You won it.
Congratulations, Kimmy, on the linear sharpener. That's correct. Okay, let's pick Facebook next.
Loretta.
That's correct, the mini quilter. It is $299.95, so that one is not part of the additional 10% off because it's on pre-order. And our final from our Grace platform.
Rebecca.
It doesn't say what Rebecca's answer was, but I know that it was correct. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been picked. So yes, TrueCut is at 25. QCT6, Quilter's Creative Touch Automation, is on 20% off. And then the mini quilter is at $299.95. So congratulations if you will all email Allegra@graceframe.com. But Kena, I gotta go because I gotta go get ready for setting up everything for our winter market. So thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you later.
We'll see you at midday. We'll see you back then. Awesome. That is just exciting. Congratulations to our big winner and also our bingo winners. It's always so much fun. The giveaways just make us so happy. And I just have to say that I love all of the love that is happening in the chats, congratulating everyone. That is what we love to see. Everyone is happy for everyone. So Wow, we are going to get started with this program. And then we are going to come back here around 1 p.m. Central Time for another segment, live segment of giveaways and promotions. We're going to see some demos. I am really excited to see some of the charity highlights, my favorite part of this program. And so stick around, don't go away. We will be right back, and we want to hear and talk with you more when we come back at 1. All right, let's get started. Enjoy all of the segments. We'll see you soon.
Are you ready for your winter market segment?
Yeah, we're just about there. Sabrina's making sure everything is perfect.
I'm glad to hear it. I think this is going to be the best winter market yet. Isn't it only our second winter market? Still. Anyway, since Mark had his life-changing ghost visions last year, he put me in charge, and I just want to make sure everything goes perfectly well. What do you have there, Janna? This is the Grace Light Quilt. It is the crown jewel of our event, and we had it especially made. I really think it embodies the spirit of grace. I'm gonna hang it up in the background. It'll be the finishing touch.
Well, hurry up. We need to get started with our presentation.
Good luck. Thanks, Janna.
Hey, I'm Jarek Nosnik, and this is
Sabrina.
And we are going to introduce you to our new Finesse Classic, and I am super excited to talk about this, Sabrina. So you are like the real deal quilter. I'm kind of like sales guy, you know. I'm not yet finished my first quilt, so I'm going to be talking to you and asking you some questions about the thread line. I know you're also involved with creating this, so we'll talk about a little bit about that as well, but let's talk about a few things. So we now, each one of these, right, they're gonna be coming in 1100. It used to come in 1500.
Yes.
And so tell me a little bit about your opinion on this new thread length, kind of like project size wise.
Exactly. We listened to our audience and realized there was just a little bit too much left over. And so we wanted to have the perfect thread length on each cone. We did spend a lot of time in product development testing to see how much thread we needed for an actual quilt. You can do a king size quilt on a cone this size. And so we wanted to have the perfect amount for the project that you're doing.
You know, so something I've heard is that, and especially in Utah, it's really dry here. So you don't want that extra left over, right? Because it's going to dry out, or you have to put it somewhere safe, right?
Yes,
So
exactly.
It's nice being able to buy the perfect amount instead of having like that weird amount of length left, right? That kind of like scrap almost thread.
What do I use this for? It can get tricky. So
something I really love about these is their naming. Like, I think they have some really awesome names. And you said that you were involved with some of the naming on this, right?
yes, very much so. We spent several meetings trying to identify what was going to be a good name, what was going to fit each color perfectly. I definitely have some favorites in here and some that my hand was directly pushed into.
What are some of those that you were involved in?
Baja Blue, it is my favorite color in the line. That one, I pushed really hard to get that name. It's named after two of my favorite things, and I love it so much.
Wow, it is a really nice color. So yeah, I really like that color.
It is. It's perfect for a nice quilt. It can go on a blue, a green, a white, and it'll look perfect on any of them.
So as a quilter, tell me a little bit why so many different colors. I love colors, like I love doing artistic things, so I can kind of guess some reason why, but tell me some of, you know, like matching fabric or kind of the new selection, because I know we've expanded kind of the colors and kind of changed around the colors that we have.
Yes. So there is a time and a place for neutral fabric. I definitely love some of these neutrals like cake batter, mocha, latte, all of that. Pearl white is definitely one of my favorites, as well as light wool. But when it comes to the colors and the vibrancy, I love to match thread to my quilt. And sometimes I do special quilt blocks that are all different colors.
Oh, wow.
And so it's nice to have a different color for every block so you can quilt it especially when you're doing custom quilting. You want to have a wide variety of colors that will match your block so that the quilting doesn't detract from your piecing.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And so I also heard that a lot of our customers do use this thread. And so that's why you were mentioning earlier, we did a lot of listening to our customers because a lot of them are using it and they had these things, they were coming back to us. So do you want to share with me some of the things that we specifically were listening to feedback on in regards to that?
Yes, for sure. We've definitely heard a lot about the linting, the thread breakage. And so we went and we changed everything, the makeup, so that we could come out with the perfect thread that was going to work for our customers. We made it stronger, more durable, it lints less, but it still has that look of cotton that you're looking for so that it does fit your quilt well and it will look perfect.
Right. So that way it's not that super shiny kind of polyester look, right?
Yes.
Because like I know there's a lot out there that kind of look really shiny, and I love the look of this thread when you look at it close up. It just looks really nice.
It's classic.
It is
and
classic.
That's exactly what it is.
Classic.
It doesn't look like an embroidery thread. It looks like a quilting thread.
That's awesome. So something you were mentioning too is like less lint in the bobbin area, and that's huge. Like I hate having to go in there and you're like scooping out as like little dust devils in there, you know, like little lint devils.
Exactly. And having this lint less but still have the look of cotton is amazing. It took a lot of time to get that, and we're so happy that we were able to achieve that look.
And you said stronger, which I love because our machines are high-speed machines, and so you want a strong, durable thread, and that's why people use this. And so if you're getting one of our machines, you're wondering which one, this is the one that people use and the one that we recommend because it is that really durable, low lint, so that is perfect for long arm quilting. If you have the little rebel, 16, 19, 21, any of them, or if you even have other long arms, this is it's going to be widely used. So
Exactly.
I just love a reliable thread is really what you want, right? One that looks good and is very strong.
Exactly. It's a great thing for us to come out with. One of the things I also wanted to share, going back to color selection and listening to our customers, some of the biggest feedback that we've received is some neutral variegateds. So we did come out with the cake batter, the mocha, and the latte to go with the canyon shale. And honestly, I'm so excited about these because they look good on any project. They blend in, they don't detract from your piecing, everything looks great. But one of the things we've heard the most outside of the neutrals is a red, white, and blue. Everybody wanted to see a red, white,
for
blue.
red, white, and blue.
So we came out with firework, and we are so excited about this thread. I think it's going to be very, very fun on any quilt that you put it on. And I think this is going to be one of our most popular threads yet.
People have just been asking for a red, white, blue. Every time they've come up, they're like, I love the Finesse thread, Jarek, but do you have like a red, white, and blue one? Because I need one for my holiday quilt. And speaking of holiday, I heard that, I mean, these ones in specific are right there that we were just looking at.
Yes.
Those are like holiday specific, right?
They are festival specific.
Ooh.
So this one is Winter Market. We have Fall Festival, Summer Camp, and Spring Fling. So we decided to put one with every one of our quilt shows so that we could have a matching thread for it.
That's awesome. And I love that. And also, I know quilters love doing things for holidays and like specific seasons, right? I mean, you're a quilter, so right, that's the time you get it out and you make your quilt because for the seasons you can have it up as a decoration. And tell me your opinion on some of these because you're talking about color matching. So what do you think about the colors now we have for this? Because I know we've shuffled those around a little bit. Like we mentioned the Baja, I just like see so many colors here. And they're kind of like similar but different, so you can kind of get more shades.
Exactly. We have 60 solid colors. And from that, I think you could match with almost any fabric within that 60 color range, and especially the blues, where that is one of our biggest colors. It's one of the most used colors in quilting. There are so many different varieties. We moved into some of those teals. so that you could get a perfect match to whatever fabric that you're looking for.
Yeah, and speaking of the most commonly used threads, like you mentioned blue, also are solid colors. You can see that there's these huge ones we have now. Those are huge. So I think those are 5,000 yards, so that is massive. And these are, again, our most common used, most heavily used threads that people are using the most. Now we have this large size.
Exactly. You can use a neutral white, beige, tan on any project that you're doing. And so having them in a larger size where you can do 5, 6 quilts, anyone that is quilting for other people and not just themselves, it can be great to have a larger spool.
Awesome. Well, I think we've covered everything. I mean, I love these new colors. New Finesse Classic, again, those are the most used colors. Blue is another heavily used color. So if you have one of our machines or if you're a long arm quilter, we highly recommend this. A lot of people use it. So we are super excited for Finesse Classic.
And please continue to share your feedback with us. We love to hear everything that you have to say about our thread, especially color-wise. Let us know what colors you think we're missing. Whatever you want to see, we can definitely put that in our suggestion box and try and make it happen, especially with the variegateds where we are looking to expand our entire line of Finesse. We want to see the projects you make. Share with us what colors you want to see, what projects you're doing with Finesse, anything and everything related to Finesse. We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, and this, like you said, this is our thread. Like, not just Grace Company, but everyone who is a part of our community, this is our thread, so share with us what you've been doing with it. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your winter market.
That was incredible. A great start to a great... Hold it! What happened to the Grace Light quilt? Did either of you take it down?
No, we weren't presenting. I didn't even notice it was gone.
I don't know how that could have happened. The camera was on it the whole time.
Except during the close-ups.
A game is afoot. Someone has taken the Grace Light quilt, and we have to find that quilt or winter market is ruined.
What are you wearing?
No signs of forced entry,
Is that a magnet thing?
which means the thief had to have been someone in this building.
But who would take the Grace Light quilt, and why?
The clues will reveal all, my dear Watson. Look, a hat. The perpetrator must have accidentally dropped this when they were stealing the Grace Light quilt. Who was wearing a hat earlier today?
Maybe it was Angelique. Her outfit looks like it's missing something.
Hey.
Oh! Look at this. It's a fingerprint.
Ah, so the suspect has fingers.
I've got to get this to the lab right away. Angelique, Katherine, move forward with the next segment while I'm gone. Bryant, don't get any obvious shots of where the Grace Light quilt was, okay? All right, good luck. Let me know if you find anything. The show must go on.
Hi, I'm Sabrina with the Grace Company, and we're back with Wrap the World with Quilts today to celebrate their open house and 50,000 quilts made and donated to Ukraine.
Hi, I'm Gina. This is my husband, Hal Halliday,
Hello.
with my good buddy, Beth, and we are co-founders of Wrap the World with Quilts.
I was riding my bike through Western Ukraine into Poland about 6 months before Russia invaded Ukraine. And the people I'd worked with started leaving as refugees. And one in particular, Natalia, shared a picture of her children at the border. And we were struck by the lack of luggage, supplies. What they just had was maybe a 1 or 2 days change of clothes. And it really touched us. We wondered how we could help Natalia.
Hal said, could we give you a quilt? And she just had tears in her eyes and was really in awe that an American would even know what was happening in Ukraine, that an American would make them a handmade gift.
Yeah, it didn't take long before we realized that we had not only just the two of us, but lots of friends in the quilting world. And we thought maybe we could get 50 quilts or 100 quilts to send over to Natalia and some of those other women and their kids.
We put it out on our social media, Beth and I's social media, and the very next day I had quilts on my front porch, and every single day we've received quilt donations to help Ukrainian refugees.
So what do you guys have here?
This is our scorekeeper counter. We keep track of how many quilts have been donated and sent out to those in need. We hit over 50,000 just this morning. That represents almost 29 acres of quilts, 62 tons of quilts.
And millions of dollars in fabric. We get between 100 and 500 quilts donated every week. There's a program called the Give Back Box. So for a charity, you can ship a box like this to us, which weighs probably 40 or 50 pounds, for a flat $20. We get quilts, fleece blankets, knitted and crocheted items. They can be any size. We always need boy quilts. We're boy moms. We always need boy quilts. Our initial mission was to help refugees in Ukraine when the war broke out. We've been able to pivot and go to other countries as well as in the United States.
We just recently sent quilts to North Carolina to flood victims. We've sent quilts to Nebraska, tornado victims, those that were affected by the fires in Maui.
We've sent them to Gaza, Israel, Afghanistan, Turkey, Syria,
Jordan,
Armenia,
Bangladesh,
all through. We have a charity partnership with another charity called Lifting Hands International. So they've helped us ship and distribute all of these quilts.
So we started as Wrap Ukraine with Quilts. We're now Wrap the World with Quilts. We're all volunteer. It's unpaid. So when people donate $5 or $50 or $100 or more dollars, every penny goes into the process of getting quilts in the hands of those in need.
Quilters are the best. People are giving, loving. We have been so grateful for the people who have donated quilts, and they tell us, thank you for providing a place for us to give our quilts. So where the people who receive the quilts obviously are grateful for them, it's the people making them as well that have been grateful for us to kind of provide this avenue to get their quilts to help others.
That's one thing that surprised us.
Surprised us a lot.
But when we think about it, no, not surprising.
Yeah, quilters are awesome.
Tonight we've invited all of our friends, donors, volunteers, quilt makers, local business leaders, anybody and everybody who wants to come. We've got a lot of pictures and things on display. We've got a silent auction going on. As part of our auction, we've got 4 quilts that are for sale that were made by Ukrainian soldiers that were injured and are in a rehab facility. One of our kind of side missions that's maybe been really in full force this past year is we've opened up sewing centers, not just in Poland for refugee moms, but also in Ukraine. And we've got one here in Lehigh. The rest are in Poland and Ukraine. There's one in a school in Ukraine where school kids can learn to sew, and it's actually in their bomb shelter. So when they're stressed and worried, they can be creative and learn some new skills and kind of have fun making little projects. We've got one that's in a veterans facility for Ukrainian soldiers, and as part of their rehab for PTSD or fine motor skills, they're learning to sew. 4 quilt tops were on display in Kyiv. They were on display in Houston at the International Quilt Festival last year, and we had them here. We had them quilted, and they're finished, and they're on display right here around our walls, and they're made by Ukrainian soldiers as part of their rehab. So they're made with American fabrics on sewing machines and everything that was donated and purchased by our organization. Every quilt that we send is tagged with the quilt maker's information, and there's a QR code on the quilt. So when a person receives the quilt, they can scan that or see who made the quilt. They have the ability to connect with that person through that QR code if they wish, and send a message of thanks or whatever. We've gotten everything from thank you for the blanket, I like her, to paragraphs of where their family lived, what happened, where they are now, what that quilt might mean to them. So that's been kind of our mission from day one with Natalia. We just wanted to help one person, And so we've always just felt like reaching that one person is what keeps us going. And so that has connected a quilt maker with the recipient. And all of those photos and messages and everything that we get back, we post on our social media. So you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, Wrap the World with Quilts.
Here's a photo that we got from a soldier. His whole unit got quilts. We thought that this photo was amazing because he's got this hot pink quilt behind him. And he sent us this message. It says, I write a word of thanks from the entire unit. We are proud that you are our friends. A low bow to you. Thank you from all of Ukraine. And he continued and said, I now have incentive, my team has incentive to take these quilts back home. We want to get back home to give them to our kids. This woman we met at a refugee center in Warsaw, and she had traveled about 50 hours straight with 2 little kids in trains and buses, and she was exhausted, as you can imagine. And someone got her a cot, and she laid down, and we had just walked in with these
Somebody
quilts.
took her kids to a little play area.
Yep. And we laid that quilt on her, and she just looked up at us with tears in her eyes, and we didn't speak, and we had the language barrier, but we know that for that one moment that she knew that somebody cared about her. So we know we can't give a quilt to all the millions of refugees out there, but we know that one quilt wrapped around someone really makes a difference.
Tell me a little bit about this quilt.
So this quilt is part of a project that was started with 3 other countries doing it, and it's called Sunflower Quilt for Ukraine. And we're collecting 12.5-inch blocks and making quilts which are 6 feet wide and 18 feet long. And we have received about 6,000 of these blocks. There's now
20 countries involved, and it's kind of a virtual hug for Ukraine. The goal is to get almost a mile-long quilt that can be displayed in some of the major cities in Ukraine. There's several quilt panels already over in Europe. They've been displayed in London, in Kyiv already, but they hope to have a mile long to display in the streets to just let the Ukrainian people know that we care about them and that we admire their courage. And then because our mission has always been to provide quilts to those in need, when that project is over and the art installation is done traveling, our panels will be divided in half, and that'll make a nice throw quilt size, and then those will be quilted by Ukrainian quilters, and then those will be donated to Ukrainian families.
And we know that a quilt gives you warmth, but really what a quilt does is says, I see you, I care about you.
I think one thing that we realized right at the beginning is they're just like us. Language barrier, little differences fall by the wayside. We found people that were warm and loving and friendly and just in a position that was out of their control, and the ability for us to just touch them for a moment or a day was really profound, I think, for each one of us.
1 or 2 days before the invasion, I was talking to 2 colleagues that were living in Lviv, Ukraine, in this business relationship I had, and I asked them what their plan was. And I had no basis or to understand what it meant to have an imminent invasion in your country. And what I was so surprised by is how very quickly they said, we will fight for our freedom and our democracy. We want an independent country that is free from, intervention and interference. And that blew me away. And then of course the next day the war was on. But I just was really struck by their, how much they loved their country and how much they wanted to preserve what they'd fought for to that point. And they're very inspiring. I think all of these refugees are strong. Many speak several languages. They're just doing the best they can, and I think they are much like us. And we had someone ask us once, a Ukrainian asked us if we'd ever thought this could happen to us, if we'd ever felt like we would go hungry or not have enough to eat. And, those were things we'd never once thought about, and they think about it all the time. It's part of their life.
Yeah, we met a woman at the sewing workshop who she had a sewing business in Ukraine. tailoring clothes and making prom dresses and wedding dresses, and she had a staff and she had sewing machines, and her business got blown up. And she fled to Poland, and she came to one of our workshops, and she's sitting there sewing a simple item, and she just had tears streaming down her eyes because she was so happy to be sewing again. And we instantly decided that she could take one of these machines home with her. And she wrote us the most heartfelt thank you note, saying that this gift of the sewing machine gave her incentive to continue to live. And a $300 sewing machine is pretty powerful. And the gratitude that the people that we give these quilts to is they were very thankful for the gifts. And we also have been really surprised at the gratitude that people have shown for the people who are giving us quilts. And they said, thank you for setting up an organization that we trust, and we know because of the QR code we can see where our quilt is going, that we can use our talents to give a quilt that we made, and we know it's going to go to someone who needs it. So we've had gratitude from both sides, from the givers and from the receivers, and that's been very rewarding. You think that the world is so big. I never would have thought that I would have friends in Poland and friends in Ukraine and had Ukrainians over to my house for dinner. The world got smaller. We are more aware of what's happening in the world and the hardships that other people have.
You know, I think from the very beginning, our intent was just to send some quilts over to Ukraine and be done with it in a week or two. But we also realized really quickly that there were other people that wanted to help. And we kind of adopted Rosie the Riveter, the We Can Do It, as our logo and our motto. And that we can do it, most of the time we weren't sure if we could, but we figured we'd find out a way. So we didn't really always have the confidence or the know-how to do something, but we knew we could figure it out or find people who knew what to do. So I think just that little bit of drive and a little bit of confidence, even though it was maybe a little
Overconfident.
overstated. Overconfidence. But I think a lot of charities are founded that way. There's not a huge business plan like there might be for a business for profit kind of situation. But really the true charity comes out of just wanting to help one person, and then that just grows and grows. And so you kind of have to develop a business plan as you go. And sometimes things that are good just take on a life of their own. So as far as giving advice to someone who wanted to help someone, just help one person. See where it goes. If it feels good, keep going. Really just the people that have rallied around us and have sent us quilts and kept going. Like, we can't stop because they're not stopping. So it really just kind of grows at this astronomical rate because there's so many good people out there that want to help.
I would say that we didn't set out with a plan. We set out to help someone, and soon other people wanted to help others. And that's what created momentum for us. Our hope was a couple hundred quilts, we never thought 10,000. In fact, our website only went up to 1,000 when we were counting them on the website. So then we had to change it to do, 10,000.
Yeah.
And
we needed a comma.
Yeah.
We had to have our web guy add a comma too.
We didn't set out to do something big. We set out to do something small, but it was authentic and it was real, and people could see that it was good, and they wanted to join. And we've just seen people help us. And the things we couldn't do or figure out or even imagine came from the people who wanted to help us. The QR code was not our idea. It was somebody else's suggestion, and it came at the very early on, and it has made such a difference. Doing good attracts good. I think that's what Beth is saying, and I agree. That is what has really created something so much bigger than we ever would have dreamed of.
Also, I think sometimes there's stumbling blocks that stop you for a minute. For example, our first box of quilts that we went to send, we had about 50 pounds of quilt, which was about 30 quilts that we wanted to send to Poland. And we took it down to UPS and it was $1,800. We knew right then that that business model was not going to work for us, that we would not be able to send quilts that way. And so then that caused us to look and find another charity that was sending aid over and to partner with them. And so some of those stumbling blocks we've had to like figure out, okay, that's not going to work. Let's go to plan B or plan C, when plan B and plan C were much better than our own plan. We are just so grateful for the opportunity to serve others, and we are so grateful to everyone who's donated to help us change the lives of other people. And the messages that we've gotten back from the QR code, we know that we're making a difference, and that's just really awesome.
Hi, I'm Katherine with Grace Company, and this is
Angelique.
And we're here today to show you this amazing product, TrueCut. First of all, I'm going to ask you, what size is your favorite rotary cutter?
Oh, that is a tough one.
Yeah?
I would have to say my go-to
Yeah.
is definitely the 45 because I think it's the most versatile.
Right.
I use the comfort cutter a lot, especially when I'm using, our rulers, but I do have a few of those specialty rulers, so I keep this one close by.
Right.
But I have to say that when I am like squaring up a quilt, when I'm cutting off the excess batting and backing and all that,
Yeah, you need the bigger one to get through all the layers. Yeah, I mean, the 45 can get through all the layers as well, but that 60 just makes it like butter go through.
I was doing something with minky and double batting, and this poor guy was just like, I pulled this out, and I was like, zing, 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 and I'm like, I'm done. So that's kind of the hard thing. The 28s, it's I've got some applique projects that I do, and I need to be able to do kind of some real fine cuts and stuff like that. So not as used as often. It just kind of depends on the technique.
That sounds about right. I pretty much will stick with the 45. Well, I'm a newer quilter. I'll just tell you that. I'm a newer quilter, so I don't do all the fancy work like you do. But so I pretty much stick with the 45. Now, why are some of these cutters like bent?
You mean
did
the
we
weird
break?
ones?
Yeah. Did we break them or what? What's going on here?
They are designed to be more ergonomic and easier to use.
Okay.
So this is your pretty much traditional straight cutter.
Right.
And it's got its purpose, but if I'm sitting there and I'm cutting strip after strip after strip, I'm gonna get tired. Look at the way I've got my wrist is turned, and I might not look it, but then maybe I do. But I'm a little on the older side, and I get tired, and it's like I'm holding it, I'm changing my position, I'm doing all of that, and I just get tired. But this thing is amazing.
Oh,
like,
that's
I don't have the blade up,
way to hold it.
I know like other people have really long fingers, so they come down like this. But I always say I'm fun size. So,
we're both fun sized here.
But look how straight my wrist is.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So
definitely looks like
I'm not having to like use my wrist to hold things, and I've sprained it a few times.
Okay.
I'm klutzy. I've fallen and I can't get up, and so it's just slide, and it's all of it is in my palm. My palm is what's controlling this. I mean, you can see. I just have this finger here for stability.
It looks like you're not even pressing down.
I could be drinking tea. Yeah, it's so easy. Definitely give it a try.
Let me give it a try. Oh, that is nice.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question. I have a best friend. She's a lefty. So, can this be right and left-handed?
Yes, it can, and it's super easy to change it.
Is it? Okay. Do you want me to try and change it?
Why don't you try to change it?
Okay, let's see. Looks like I press this button here.
Yep.
Oh.
And now you can take all of that stuff off.
Alrighty, and take
And
that
take
off.
the backing off.
Okay.
So if you flip it, it looks exactly the same on both sides.
Nice,
So then all
okay.
you gotta do is
Put it back together.
put everything together.
The opposite direction.
way. Yeah.
Okay.
So we did think about our lefties.
Yes, because
Which is good because my husband's a lefty.
Oh
and
yeah.
We
Does
always
he
have to
help
think
you
about,
quilt sometimes?
I would not say he
Did you
helps
see
me
how
quilt.
easy that
Yeah,
was?
super
And
easy.
That was like only my 3rd or 4th time doing it,
Yeah.
so that's pretty nice.
Now it probably feels funky
It
because
does.
you're
It
right-handed.
feels a little lefty. I think I'm going to switch it back over. We'll do it. We'll do it the other way again.
And these, the 45s, are magnetic. So if you
Oh.
could kind of see, it makes it really easy for changing your
Yeah.
blade, so it's not slipping around when you're trying to put the parts back together.
There we go.
Yeah,
We're back
easy
to
peasy.
it right.
And make sure we've got those safety things because these are very safe to use,
Yes.
especially when we start talking about our guides and all of that.
See these little plastic inserts
That
here?
was a new thing I learned.
Yes, it's pretty awesome. You can take these out, make your own little label, so it can say Angelique or Kathy. And then when you go to your guild or go to your mom's house, your friend's house, it doesn't get mixed up with theirs because
Yeah.
it has your name in it. Look how easy that is that she's been just popped it right out. That's
I saw something
kinda
about
nice.
making like a small little quilt.
Oh,
in
that
here.
would be
I
cute.
think that would be really
See,
cute.
that's what you would use your little small rotary cutter for, the little 28. Now, why is TrueCut so different than the other kind of cutters? Let's talk about rulers.
Okay.
Because I think that's
Why
what
don't you
makes
show
it
you,
special.
let's grab my favorite go-to ruler to start with, and that is, yes, how did you
This
know?
is everyone's favorite. I know.
This is the one I grab the
Yes.
most. I just, for some reason, have a lot of like 3.5 or 2.5 inch strips to do
Yeah.
or blocks. And so we have this edge. And no other rulers have this edge.
interesting,
Right?
yeah.
And so one of the things I want to kind of show you too with this is we have these special adapters that go here.
The ruler guides.
The ruler guides.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Sometimes
welcome.
words don't come to me. That's going to roll right along here, so it
Okay.
helps it stay nice and straight. But it sits right in this groove, and
That's
you're
amazing.
not going to, because if we grab the bigger one,
Yes. This is one of my favorite
this
sizes.
is my go-to when
Yeah.
I'm doing like
Squares,
big things,
yeah.
right? So this is my other go-to. I don't know about you, but when I have a ruler like this, whether I have the True Grips on, which I know we'll probably get a chance to talk about as well, it will move on me. So I'll be doing this, and then as I'm trying to adjust, whee, right? And I'm
Yes.
like, oh, and I've messed up my fabric, right?
Or you
I've
go
shifted
over-
it the other way, and now it's too short.
Yeah, or
right?
you
It's
go
too thin.
over your ruler and then you go to use your blade and it
I
goes
have
clunk, clunk,
done
clunk,
that
clunk,
so
clunk,
many
clunk.
times where
Yeah.
I've like gone right on
Yeah.
on the rulers that are lower.
So this
But
is nice.
I don't even have to move.
It just attaches right there on the edge,
Yeah.
stays nice and straight. So
And
great.
a little trick that I learned because of this, I get a little bit extra.
Yeah. So
So
nice.
when my ruler is just a little short, I'm like, I know it's still gonna be straight
still
even after I
connected
go
on the
because
end.
it gets
Yeah.
that little connection.
Now, so I noticed that these rulers aren't moving. Let's talk about the True Grips.
Yeah, let's talk about
because these are amazing. Angelique's going to get a pack and show us. What they are is they are these little silicone rubber tabs. You put them on the backs of your ruler, so as you're going to move your ruler, it doesn't move on the mat. It's able to just kind of stick there. It's not sliding left, it's not sliding right. When you're doing your cutting, makes it so easy and sticky. And the nice thing about these is if you look at these, they actually have 30 of the True Grips because you have 15 of the large ones, and then these little dots in the middle can be used for smaller rulers or smaller areas as well. So you
Or
get
you can
30
keep
in a
them
pack, which is so nice. So it makes the rulers so they're not moving on you. It's great. I mean,
And
we
if you
hate
don't want her to move, and a
it's-
lot of our rulers, we don't so much in the triangle rulers, but I'm going to show you one of my other go-tos, which are the square rulers, because you've got that lip
all the
that
way
edge guide
around.
all the way around.
Yes, which is really nice.
You'll see in our rulers, there's some places where there's little circles right here, and that is so you know exactly where to put it.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So that way they're evenly on there, and as you can see, but this
Right.
thing is really tough to move.
Well, Angelique, we have so much great product here, but we don't want to leave one of my very favorites
Yes.
out of the loop.
Yes, yes, yes.
How many of you like to cut circles? How many of
many
your
of you can cut circles?
have a little edge on it because the circle is pretty good, and then all of a sudden you make a square? So we have this fabulous circle cutter that is so easy to use. We're going to demonstrate it for you. You can do circles, and then you can turn those circles into crescents. You can make apples and make a cute apple quilt for fall. I mean, so many different things. So Angelique, let's see how this amazing circle cutter works.
Okay, so first thing is that you do have a little safety feature on
Yes.
this as well that covers your blade. So that's something that you want to make sure you hang on to, because you don't want to grab this thing later and cut that.
If you go to use your circle cutter and it's not cutting your fabric, most likely your blade is on. We get a lot of calls about yeah.
Why isn't it cutting?
Yeah.
So you can hear I snap that down. There is a locking mechanism as well. I generally don't have that engaged unless I'm storing
Right.
it, so I pretty much leave it unlocked. And then you have this part here, and this
So, what would a live stream be without a few technical difficulties? So, we are going to just take a second here as our technology department works out the kink there. The internet gods want to participate in our live stream as well. But we'll be right back. So thank you all so much for your patience as we work those out, and we'll be up in a second. But I just want to talk about what we've seen so far and how amazing the segment on the charity quilts was. I don't know about you all, but I was just crying like the ugly cry here. Just what an amazing story. What an amazing story. And that's just one of the things that I love about the quilt community, that we love quilting, but we quilt with a purpose. And there's so much love that goes into the work that we do. And we want to share that love. There's so many love that goes into those stitches. And so How amazing is it when we actually have a purpose and we can give back and help people, not only in our immediate community, but beyond our family, beyond our state, beyond our country. It's just so wonderful. And I just am truly touched. And hopefully, most of you were inspired to give, whether it's donating funds, money, whether it's donating quilts. I believe the website, and I just want to say, whenever Grace Company highlights any of these charities, all of the funding and all of the money and the donations go directly to the organization. So we're here as a vessel. We spread the news, we help tell the story, and we provide the way to donate. So if you would like to just go directly to their website, you can click on those links and donate directly. Okay, so I think we're ready. I think we're ready to go back in. Is that correct? I'm just double checking. Devin, we're good to go?
You can
All
use
right.
circles, and then you can turn those circles into crescents. You can make apples and make a cute apple quilt for fall. I mean, so many different things. So, Angelique, let's see how this amazing circle cutter works.
Okay, so first thing is that you do have a little safety feature on this as well that covers your blade. So that's something that you want to make sure you hang on to, because you don't want to grab this thing later and cut that.
If you go to use your circle cutter and it's not cutting your fabric, most likely your blade is on. We get a lot of calls about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could hear I snapped that down. There is a locking mechanism as well. I generally don't have that engaged unless I'm storing it. So I pretty much leave it unlocked. And then you have this part here. And this part in here is what is going to adjust the size of your circle. So I kind of have a small piece here. I think I'll stick around the 3.5. And I'm going to turn it a little bit to the side. And you can see there is that little red marker, kind of looks like when you're driving in the old style. That kind of shows you your speedometer, how fast you're going. And so wherever I put that is going to be the radius of my circle. Okay, she's locking it in. And then I turn it to lock it. And then the center of this is where you have this little pin, and that is going to hold your circuit cutter in place. So I like to do a little check before I press down to make sure that
that's a good tip, actually. Yeah.
And so once I'm ready to cut, I'm holding this with my non-dominant hand, and then it's a matter of pressing down and swirling.
And
here we go.
There's our gorgeous circle. So if you are going to Grandma's house and you're going to be doing some quilting with Grandma, we have this amazing TrueCut travel kit. Now, it comes with this very stylish bag. I mean, look at how cute that is, right? As well as all the fun goodies inside of it. What this amazing TrueCut travel kit has in it, let's open it up here. We have this really cute mat, which is just like our other mats. Our mats are 5-ply. They're self-healing, which means you can cut and cut and cut and cut and cut, and it will not make a dent in your mat.
And it's a twofer.
It is.
You've got this side and this side, so it's like having two mats
on both sides. Also in this kit comes this size ruler.
This is a great ruler.
3x8.
Great for ruler work because of that edge.
Yeah.
And you can get in there with your fingers and really hold it in place.
Yeah. Comes with a rotary cutter.
This is the mini.
Yes. A little pack of true grips, which you'll want to use on your ruler. And then we've got...
Oh, those look sharp. Those scissors.
Yeah. So we have some scissors and pins.
Sharpener for your pencil.
Yes,
your
marking pencils. And then we have this awesome... So this is like one of those old-time snap bracelets.
Oh.
That has magnet on it. So you can put your pin right there on
that
your
is
wrist.
smart.
Yeah, it has a seam ripper in it. And then this is the part I really like. So while you're in the car driving to Grandma's house
because someone else is driving.
Yeah. You can work on your piecing projects.
Oh.
Has this amazing, it's kind of like sandpaper where your fabric will stick onto it. So you can kind of make your designs
And
for
it's
your
not
squares.
going to move.
It's not going to move. As well as if you wanted to maybe just do some pinning, you can pin it right onto this corkboard side.
And if you're like, I know that we have, some people that are traditionalists, they like to hand sew and piece. So this is the kit for you because you can take it everywhere.
Yeah. So this travel kit, it's just perfect for traveling to grandma's
look at all
house.
this. You've
to
got
a guild, pockets. There's also this really fun pattern that comes in. It's the postage stamp pattern. Shows you exactly how to put it together. So that's kind of fun as well. So TrueCut.
It's a gift inside of a gift inside of a gift.
It is, yes. Thanks for joining us today. We love showing you all of our TrueCut product. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out here to us at Grace Company.
Absolutely.
We can answer any questions you might have. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Just as I thought.
Janna, we've got something you need to see.
I've got some information to share too. Is that?
I'm afraid so. A thread from the Grace Light quilt.
And I've just been to consult with the Grace forensic team. Run this print through the system for me.
I'm a graphic designer.
This is a graphic crime.
Well, I mean, this looks like chip dust.
And it is chip dust. Salt and vinegar tato chip dust to be exact.
Anthony's favorite. Anthony, how could you take the quilt that was clearly meant for me? I mean, how could you?
No, I swear it wasn't me. I've been framed. Don't put that cutie frame down. We've got some questions for you. No, I'm innocent. I want a lawyer now.
Hi, and welcome back to Winter Market. Today, we're going to be talking about thread painting. So, growing up, I grew up near the North Cascades up in Washington, and we would go every winter to the mountains. And so today I wanted to do a thread painting of my home and do a mountain scenery. So I used QCT to draw out a square, and this is just gonna frame my piece so I don't go outside the lines. It'll be really simple. And then I also had it draw the road, so I didn't have to do any ruler work for this. I tried out multiple different feet when I did my original project, and I found that the micro stippling foot is gonna be the best for this type of project. So that's what I have here on the 21X Elite. We're gonna start by using Snow White as our first color, and I'm not gonna worry about changing the bobbin color because it's just gonna be either a wall hanging or maybe I'll frame it, we'll see. But the bobbin doesn't matter. So I just have pearl white in the bobbin and I'll stay with that the whole time. For this type of painting, I do like to use a lower SPI, so I'm gonna lower it down to about 7 so that it has that bigger stitch to it. All right, so we're gonna start by painting a little bit of the sky to give it a snowy, kind of cloudy look. I am just doing some free motion here. And I'm just gonna make my way echoing back over to this corner here so that I can go ahead and tie off. So with our Finesse Classic line, we have several different types of brown, and I kind of wanted to mix up the colors that I do for these tree trunks to add dimension and texture. So I'll be using some variegateds and some solids to add the different colors of the tree trunks to the project here. And I am going to start with brownie. One thing to keep in mind when you're thread painting is to make sure that your tension is pretty low. When you're putting a lot of stress on some of the thread and doing a lot of back and forth,
especially for this section, you're gonna wanna have a lower tension. And for this section, I'm not gonna worry about pulling up my bobbin at all. Because we're gonna be moving from place to place, we'll just keep it messy underneath there. But I'm gonna start by making a big happy tree here. So we'll go up and down here to make this trunk. Really make it look like a tree trunk. All right, so we've got one tree, and then I'm gonna go ahead and space some trees throughout this. I'm gonna vary the sizes and shapes of each tree. I'm gonna leave room between so that we have room for the other colors of trunks. And it's okay that we've got a little bump there. We will cover that up. All right, and before I switch, I'm just gonna trim all my tails. I think I'm going to add in here some blondie. And this one's gonna be really tall. For our last trunk color, we're gonna go ahead and use mocha. All right, so we've got all of our trunks here. I'm gonna go ahead and trim my threads, and then we can start on adding some of that greenery. And we have lots of different colors of green as well. And I'm gonna start with seaweed green. And I'm just gonna go back and forth, up and down, just like I would if I was drawing a Christmas tree. You can see the kind of loops I'm making here. And I am gonna go above the trunk as well, because at the top of the trees, you can't really see the trunk. And this guide on the side is super helpful because it tells me right where I need to stop. I don't feel the pressure to fill in some of that side area. And this is a great time to start using the bobbin estimator. I forgot to set it when I first started. So we'll go ahead and open up our toolbox and go to bobbin estimator, and I'm gonna add a bobbin. We're gonna call it white. Enter. And we know that there are 80 yards on a roll of bobbin, but I am pulling up my bobbin a little bit, so I'm gonna set it to 75 so I don't run out again. And let's add in a little bit of emerald. This one's gonna be a tall tree too. So we'll go ahead and start here. So now we're getting into some of that layering. You can see we're gonna overlap with this other tree. One of the other reasons I use white in the bobbin is because it kind of peeks through. When you're doing the thread painting, your tension is going to be a little different than it is with regular quilting. So using white in the bobbin is kind of fun. We're adding a little bit more dimension here. And I'm going to leave some more of the trunk exposed on this one, so it peeks right through. I like to try and mix up some of our thread colors. There we go. And then we'll come down here and just get a little bit of dimension on this edge where the tree kind of has a bud. All right, so we'll use our last green here to fill in those last few trees. And for this one, I'm going to use Kelly green. And this is really going to be vibrant, so it'll be lots of fun here. And we're going to get a little bit loopy with this one too. So with that in, love how vibrant this Kelly green is. It's important to make sure when you're doing a long painting like this Okay, you don't lock your knees. Make sure you're rocking back and forth on the balls of your feet so that you don't get tired. So to add the snow, we're going to use the same method that we used on the trees and just lightly go over the top of the green. Not as dense, but just dense enough that you can tell there's snow definitely on the tops, and then we'll kind of loosen up as we come down the bottom. And you can get dense near the top here. Usually there's a lot of dense snow on top of the trees. This also helps highlight the overlapping that we did in the last step. And having this snow match the texture of the trees can really highlight the work that we did with all of that green. So we've gotten our trees, we've gotten the snow on top of the trees. I think it's time to add a few bushes and dogwood trees towards the bottom. So I'm going to use some of my lighter browns that we talked about earlier, and I might mix in some of my darker ones too, we'll see. So where you are switching colors a lot sometimes, it can be good to try this technique. So what I'm going to do is I just trimmed my white thread above this thread guide here. And I'm going to take the end of my white thread and the end of my brown thread. And I'm just going to tie a little knot here. So these two are tied together. And I'm going to pull. And as I pull through, I can trim off that knot. And I can thread the needle. So I am going to start at the bottom. And these ones are going to be more branchy. So we're going to focus more on the branches than we do on the trunks. And we're going to make this one a little bit taller. And he's going to overlap with some of our other trees. We're just going to go up to get the base of that. We're going to go over, back a little bit, and up, and back down. So I'm going to go over, up, out another one, just until you feel satisfied with the number and the type of branches that you have. So this one, maybe he'll have 3 arms on that one. And I'll just add 1 there. We're gonna make this one a tall dogwood tree. Growing up, we had a huge dogwood tree in our backyard, and it was always so fun when the snow fell on it, because you could see the branches, and it really just stuck out well with the rest of the trees in our backyard. We had a nice big green belt behind us, so anytime it snowed, you could see the snow falling on top of those trees, and then the sun would shine through it, and it really was just such a beautiful sight. And you can make these branches as thin or as thick as you want to. And these will be fun because as we start to add more colors, they'll really intertwine together. All right. So we're going to go ahead and swap this one out with latte. Oh, I love the look of a variegated thread on this. It's really adding a lot of that texture that we're looking for. And for this one, I'm going to start at the bottom and kind of move up. I'm going to overlap a little bit with some of these other trees and bushes that we've done here. I'm going to make these branches change direction a little bit as they come across. For this next technique, we're going to go ahead and do something similar to pebbling. We're going to add snow bubbles to the trees that'll also give that dogwood effect. I'm just going to go ahead and add, kind of doing a little loopy meander, but also making sure I'm getting that pebble shape. And again, this is one you definitely want a higher SPI on since you are working in such a small area. So I have mine set to 13 right now. So come back down, gonna do another one over here. So we're sort of mixing pebbles with a loopy meander, retracing our steps instead of doing echo lines. So this is kind of a fun way to add texture and to add layering to your design. So we can see the other colors pop through, but also to be able to make these trees look like they're all connected. As we have one big layer here. All of the snow and the branches kind of leads into the look we're going to achieve here as we get towards the bottom. So we've got this layer done. The next thing we're going to do, I think, is add some bushes in here. So for these little ground bushes, I am going to do some swirls that are very tight and that overlap. So we're going to mix a swirl with a loopy meander. We really just want to fill it all the way in and overlap itself. All right, so now we can move on to our next thread color, and we are going to highlight the swirls to make that snow effect. And for the snow on the road, as anyone who lives anywhere that it snows knows, it never stays white when it's on the road. So we're gonna add a little bit of smoky quartz, and it's still got that white color, but it has just enough gray that I think it's really gonna make the snowbank pop here. All right, and then we're gonna do the middle of the road as well. And go back and forth, slowly narrowing my design here. So we've got our baseline of that smoky quartz. I'm gonna go in, add just a little bit more of that snow white to add in some snow and a little bit more texture, and then we'll be done. As you can see, we've got our completed design. If you wanted to, you could add some extra snowflakes up in the top. You could add some yellow for the rest of that road. But I think we have a great design here. Thank you so much for joining us for this segment. We hope you enjoy the rest of your winter market.
I don't know why everyone's so upset. This is going to be great.
Yeah, it's weird how hung up everyone is over some quilt. What's the big deal anyway?
I think it's probably a big misunderstanding. The quilt will show up sooner or later.
Yeah, people sure are jumping to a lot of conclusions. Winter market is great, even without some flashy quilt. It was probably more of a distraction than anything. Actually, forget what I said before. Someone worked really hard on that quilt. I shouldn't dismiss it. Plus, I don't want anyone to think that I took the Grace Light quilts.
And don't worry, even if you did, I have some juicy company secrets.
Don't tell me about them. I don't want to know. Let's just work on our QCT segment. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Allegra Erznosnik.
I'm Jenna Hall.
And we are so excited to tell you about Quilter's Creative Touch 6.
I love it. It's my favorite thing to use.
Let's get right into it. Okay. We're going to start with just a basic download of what we have. We have 3 tiers that you can choose from. First one is QCT 6, also known as QCT 6 Edge to Edge. This is what Jenna is setting up right now. This is our beginner version. It is best for people new to automation, or if you're wanting automation on a budget, this is what you're going to want. With Edge to Edge QCT 6, you only does edge to edge patterns. You don't get block placements, you only get those pantographs that go from one side to the other side. And do you know how many patterns it comes with, Jenna?
I want to say, I don't, like 100?
Oh my gosh, you're so close. 150.
Okay.
Some of the cutest patterns also, like great for kids, some dinosaurs, there's some princess stuff in there. So it's a really fun beginner automation system, especially if you're going to be making them for grandkids or as gifts. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, what happens when we go up to QCT 6 Plus?
Okay, when we go up to QCT 6 Plus, you don't just get the ability to do edge to edge with your pantographs, but you also get select and sew. And with select and sew, what is really cool is you get to choose the design, and then in a block, you can place where you want that design to go. So place this design, I'm just click the nodes, and then it's going to tell exactly where I need to stitch it out, and then I can go ahead and quilt it out. I can turn anything, and it's so fun to experiment with.
Yes, and if you notice, Jenna did move the machine to place each of those spots and then press the gray node and they turned green. So that means they're set, they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's stitch it out. Let's see what it looks like.
Let's see. So we're going to press quilt.
It's going to connect.
You can see automatically right here it's connecting. And then we can press sew. I'm going to pull my bobbin, except I'm going to do it in a silly way.
This is the best way.
You can press pull bobbin, but if you take your thread and you hold it right under your foot, first stitch, and then come up, and it pulls your bobbin up for you.
You just have to swipe. Personally, I'm quite an impatient person, so I love using Jenna's trick. We all use that trick around the office. It's fantastic.
Ooh.
I like the variegated thread we have on here.
Right? It's so fun. We have some more colors coming out, and it's just fun and exciting.
It's fun and exciting, yeah. So we're stitching out a pattern from QCT 6 Plus. Now, when you go up to Plus, you still have access to all of the patterns you had with QCT 6 edge to edge, but you also get 150 more. So now you have about 300 patterns that you can use.
Good.
And once you get up to Plus, you can also upload patterns that you've already purchased, ones that you found, maybe one that you were looking for specifically for a certain project. You're not limited just the ones in the system. So once you get up to the Plus tier, you can put as many patterns of your own in there as you want.
And with the sale that's going around for winter market and just our December sale in general, QCT, there is a huge discount on all of the levels as well as the gold card. And we'll talk about the gold card in a little bit.
Yes. So we're going to let it stitch it out. When it comes to the stitching settings, you can change your stitches per inch. You can choose between fast, medium, or slow stitching. So you do have the option to change a few things just based on what you prefer.
And I find it best when I use QCT that it stitches out better on medium or slow setting.
Yes, I agree.
A lot
Mediums are slow. And if you're going to do like some really intense or like really intricate patterns, the smaller your stitches per inch, the better.
Yeah.
I also want you to notice, so when we started, it buried our threads for us in the beginning. So you don't have to worry about them coming undone. It's going to do the exact same thing for us in the end as well. So as it comes along this last loop to its ending point, it's going to stop in the middle. We're going to see it hesitate, kind of stop, go slow. And then we get 3 ending stitches so that nothing comes unraveled. And now we're just going to trim that.
We're going to pull up bobbin. I like to use the single stitch button to help pull up the bobbin. And now we got a really pretty design using pattern placement.
So once we move up to Plus, we can program 2 rows at a time instead of just one program with edge to edge.
Okay.
So you get a little bit more there as well. Let's go up to Pro and see about all the amazing features you can get in Pro. Okay. We have a 3rd row in our pantograph line, but now we also have these 3 on the side. We have Pattern CAD, Quilt CAD, and Record. Amazing features,
right? So what I love about Pattern CAD is if you're someone who wants to design your own pantographs, or even, let's say you make a cute little quilt block and you want a snowflake in it, but you can't find a pantograph that you like, or even a block that you like, you can design it yourself using the draw segment. So I'll just come through, draw out my snow.
Can I actually show you something really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna back your pattern. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
We're gonna go over here to easy.
That's even better.
We're not gonna save your pattern and we're gonna choose flakes. And we can choose how many branches we want, if we want them double-sided or not. And then you can pretty much just build whatever you want onto it.
So I can go ahead and just draw. Whoa.
Yep. Look at that.
Whoa. Oh my God. That did just blow my mind.
Yes.
Now I need to experiment. Now I want to design, like, just do a quilt where I could just practice designing my own pattern.
Yes.
Oh, this is fun.
Now, a lot of people ask, am I stuck using the tablet for designing? Like, for when people are interested in making their own patterns, they're often wondering, does this mean I have to stand at my frame to design my patterns? The answer is no. QCT can be registered on up to 3 devices. So that could be the tablet that it runs on with your machine, a laptop, another tablet, so you can be away from your quilting system while designing these as well. So QuiltCAD, this is a pretty cool thing. You can tell the system exactly how big your entire quilt is. So for example, I just made one that was 86 inches by 90 inches. So let's say if I wanted to quilt that one, it's already quilted, but if I wanted to do it where I have this entire design layout, then I would put that into the bottom, say that that's how big my quilt is. It's going to block it out for me. And I could also choose how big the blocks are. Now you'll notice you've been filling some things in.
I have.
And now did you do that like individually?
So to do this guy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the blocks I want to place the pattern in, select pattern, let's say beach ball. We're going to open it up and then I'm going to press place pattern and it's going to place it in there.
Yes.
And I want the max height. And so I'm just going to pick max width, max width. And now I have a fun little design.
Yeah, so this you can design your entire quilt layout, not just what's in your safe area. So you can design this and then set it up to quilt, and then the only thing that you'll be doing is moving up and progressing your fabric so you can quilt the rest of it. Now, what comes with the gold card?
Are we ready for gold?
The gold access card is a yearly subscription that's only compatible with QCT 6 Pro.
Okay.
So you can't use it with 6 Edge to Edge or with 6 Plus.
With the gold features, I find that I use pantograph and the gold features most often. One of the things I love about the gold access features is the gold patterns. Every month there are new patterns dropped in. And so there's always something new to explore.
Yes, you'll never run out of pattern.
Right? Okay, should we show them?
Yeah, which
stitch something out?
I want to show them.
Well, we didn't talk about Font Stitcher. Should we stitch out Font?
Yes, we should.
What I love about Font Stitcher is it stitches out whatever you want it to say, and it's so fun for like a baby quilt, especially if you want to do like the alphabet on different letters. Let's say we do winter market.
Yeah.
Or should we just do winter?
We'll just do winter.
Keep it
simple.
We have this design right here. I'm just going to move it over here.
And then we're going to watch as Jenna moves to her point and where she wants it. Then she's going to press the node. It's going to turn green.
Okay.
Now, it's telling us it's out of our safe area, but it won't be once we set the other sides. It comes onto the screen as like a preset size. So if you only change like one side of it, that length is still showing. But once we set it, now it's not going over the edge, so it's not going to give us that safe edge warning.
And now I went ahead and set my blocks. And again, I'm going to go ahead and press quilt.
And then quilt, it's going to connect. It's going to engage all of the automation system. And you're going to notice the screen, like Jenna pointed out earlier, it says Quilt Motion. So now we can't use this screen. That's a safeguard that's built in so we don't damage the machine while it's in automation mode.
It's going to take us to the spot. We're going to do the little pull up a bobbin trick. Perfect. There we go.
There we go. And we're just going to trim the end of that bobbin thread so it doesn't get caught under anything else.
And what I find is a lot of people, when they do something like this, they see these blue lines and these dots, and they're worried that the system will stitch those out. But what those blue lines and dots actually do is they tell QCT that when you reach one point, you're just going to jump to the next point you want without stitching. And so it's your job to go ahead and just cut out the thread.
Yes, and it will bury the threads for you so they don't come unraveled. But obviously, this isn't a cursive font, so the letters aren't touching. So we are going to have to make that jump to start the next letter and trim that thread in between.
Exactly. So it's doing the 3 stitches. And then I automatically have to say move to next. So I'm going to move to next. And what you could do is you could pull up your bobbin, cut it now, and then move to next. Or you could just go ahead and have it move. And
yes.
I'd rather just cut it all out.
Me too. It varies the thread anyway for you, so you don't have to worry about it coming unraveled.
Exactly.
So I think it's a little bit easier to do it after it's finished, and then you can go snip everything in between.
Exactly. We're going to do so. And then we'll keep going.
All right, I made that jump. And now it's just doing the rest of it.
Right? And with the sales that are going on for winter market, I think now is the time, really, if you've been wanting a machine and automation, it is the best deal of the year.
It is. Holiday season,
right,
is already fantastic, but specifically here at Grace Company, that's really when all of our great, amazing discounts come through that you're going to want to take advantage of.
And right now, because when you buy a machine, you get a frame for free. And so not only are you getting the machine, a frame for free, and the huge accessory bundle, it's always changing, and there is a lot of stuff in it.
Yes. Now,
to fill your work.
A great deal that's going to be happening on QCT6.
Exactly. So if you're already looking to buy a machine and frame, it's time to buy QCT with it.
Treat yourself to a gift this year.
Literally.
And get something that you've always been wanting.
And a lot of people wonder like, hey, if I do QCT and my system is set up for QCT, can I also free motion? And the answer is yes. On the back, there are belts that you just loosen anytime you want a free motion. And then when you're ready for QCT, you just tighten it up again. And it's as easy as that. There are so many quilts that I love to combine free motion and QCT, just because with QCT, there are some designs that you can only get using automation and not free motion. So it's really cool.
Thanks so much for joining us on our demo for QCT6. We hope we piqued your interest and that you're ready to buy. And thanks for joining us for Winter Market.
Janna, we need to find the Grace Light quilt. This mystery is distracting the presenters. We should probably cancel this entire event.
No, Mark, please, no. I can fix this. I can make it work. Please, I'll sort this all out.
Okay. But when the story was centered on me last year, it was never this messy.
Mark, that was a different genre altogether. Wait a minute. Did you take the Grace Light quilt so your winter market would be better than mine?
Wait, what? That's a ridiculous plan. Genius, but ridiculous.
What was that?
Nothing. Just get this back on track fast. I'm counting on you.
Hi, my name is Susan Schmidt, and I'm one of the regional coordinators and vice president for Quilts Beyond Borders. We're a charity of 16 volunteers, no one is paid, and we provide quilts to children in the United States and overseas. We get help from quilters across the country and internationally as well, and people provide lap-sized quilts or tops. And then we have long armors that help us finish them. We get a variety of quilts from all different people with different skill levels. We've given out over 32,000 quilts since we started in 2007. We really have a heart for children. We feel we kind of meet a need that is not met. Our quilts go to the United States and 35 other countries. They go to children in orphanages, refugee camps, shelters, camps here in the United States, foster homes. They are definitely cherished possessions for the kids. Many of the children that we help have nothing. In orphanages, they share clothing, other kinds of belongings. They may have their own toothbrush. So the quilts that they get, each one will have their name on it, is theirs for the rest of their lives. And we're thankful that our quilts last many, many years. We started in 2007 when the daughter of a quilter went to Ethiopia. And then the children had AIDS. And so when she came home and was talking to her mom, they decided that about what could they do, how could they help. So the following year, they got their quilting friends together, they made quilts and took 250 quilts over to Ethiopia. We've made a number of trips there. A number of the coordinators have gone, had an opportunity to actually give quilts to the children there. And when we think about how long a child keeps a quilt and what it really means to them, there was a couple out of Canada that went to Ethiopia and adopted a child when they were very young, and they brought their quilt home, and they contacted us a couple years ago and told us how he's 9 now and sleeps with his quilt every night. We have a variety of ways that people can help us. We're asked that all the time. We ask that people, if they want to make a quilt, they can do that. On our website is what we're looking for as far as fabric in the quilt, the type of quilting, the dimensions. They're smaller size. We don't take any bed size quilts. And then we have people sometimes that would like to help us by being a regional coordinator, helping with special projects. And then we also have people that are willing to make financial donations to us. That can be done through our website as well, where all of our money goes toward helping mainly provide quilts to get around the country. Different groups take our quilts overseas if they're going overseas. So we have quilts right now going to Ukraine. They go over on container ships, but most of our quilts are all hand carried in suitcases. And so nothing is shipped over, nothing is mailed over, so that we're sure that the quilts that are given to us get given to the groups that they're meant to go to. We have done a lot of work with a humanitarian group to provide quilts to the Syrian refugees. They've been now in refugee camps for 12 years. And so we have sent thousands of quilts to them. And we are really grateful for that help. Some of them are still living in tents. We've done other work for them to help them once in a while. We sent baby quilts over to help the mothers that are delivering children in tents. And we were happy to do that. We get children of all ages, so we get some infants and we get into teens as well. We in the United States, we're really grateful to help the foster program here in the U.S. And so a number of children we go through comfort cases, and a number of children, when they're going into foster care for the first time, get one of our quilts to take with them. And so that's been a real treat. And I know that we've heard a lot of feedback back that the kids have loved their quilts. Another way that people help us is sometimes if they have good quality cotton fabric that they want to donate, we do take fabric donations. And so what happens is people can contact us through our email and our website, and that way they can get in touch with one of the coordinators that's close to them so that they can either have a place to ship their things that's not too far away. And we have some people kind of situated throughout the United States. So we have people on the East Coast, the West Coast, and in between. I started out in Quilts Beyond Borders in 2015, and I had been to Houston the year before with my daughter, who got me started in quilting much later in life. She started first, I started second. And so we decided we would make a quilt for Quilts Beyond Borders. And so the following year, I was ready to retire from a nursing career and started talking with the president about becoming a regional coordinator in Oregon, where I'm located. And they didn't have a coordinator at that time. So I started in July, and I am still happily quilting away and working with hundreds of people. The Northwest and beyond is our group, and since 2015, we've collected and sent out 8,000 quilts. So I have been able to find wonderful quilters who are so faithful and so committed to Quilts Beyond Borders. So I have a large group and sewing groups and a variety of things here on the West Coast. And so that is my kind of story about how I got here. It's been wonderful to have quilting friends, both within QBB, the coordinators themselves, and also just the number of friends I've made working and helping people bring quilts to QBB. Quilts have a history. For many of us, we had grandparents, parents who made quilts. We have hand-done quilts that are treasures and vintage. It's an art to make quilts. It is, for some people, making show quilts is a part of your quilting life. For a lot of us, it's a way to continue our quilting, because what I think all quilters get to a point is you give quilts to your family, you give quilts to your friends, and they get to a point where they're like, okay, I've got enough quilts now. And yet your love for sewing, your love for quilting, you begin to think about how am I going to satisfy that love? And what can I do with my quilts? And so I think what we have found is giving them to children who, for many of us who are parents, if your child had a blanket that they loved and they drug around and they slept with every night, I think that is a piece of what that quilt represents for a child, is security, comfort, warmth. I think children who have nothing all of a sudden realize there's someone in this world who has thought that about a child, and someone who cared enough that they would provide something for me to have. And, and many, even when you think about the Middle East and quilts going to Jordan and Syria and a variety of other places, people think, oh, well, the weather's hot. But in the mountainous region, it's cold. It's cold in the wintertime. We've just had a lot of feedback over the years from groups that have taken them to the kids and how excited the kids were. If you have a seamstress background, a quilting background, and you see the quality of the quilts, you see the intricacy of the patterns, you realize the time and the effort, the skill that went into the quilts. And so we're so grateful for the talents and the gifts that are shared with us by the quilters. And we get quilts of all different colors. And sometimes we think, oh my gosh, that doesn't have primary colors in it. It's kind of darker shades. Maybe one had browns and reds in it. And when they ask the kids, you can pick out the quilt that you want. This brown and red quilt was the first one that left the whole group of quilts. And they asked this little boy about, why did you pick that quilt? And he said, well, it reminds me of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And so, sometimes what we may or may not be drawn to, a child looks at in a totally different way. But I do know, being able to interact with the kids and see where they live. I know when you look on our website and see our brochures, you can see pictures of children with the quilts and deliveries that have been made. And we have so many people that get excited to see where their quilts are going, where they've gone. I've had quilters contact me and say, oh my gosh, I saw my quilt, a child was holding it, they're in Syria or wherever. And, that's exciting for them as well. So many quilters I have met have a giving heart. And I think that they are looking for ways to share their gifts and talents. They have a love for making a quilt. When you sit down and you make a quilt, you begin to think about and wonder who that quilt is going to go to, what child may get this quilt. And I think there are people that are concerned for children, especially in this world right now. Syrian refugee children walking 300 miles to get out of Syria, and Ukrainian children that we've watched flee their homes and have to go somewhere else. And I think those stories and those realities for children are part of what touch a quilter's heart, because they recognize what a quilt means, the comfort of it. When you're cold and you're frightened and you're wrapped up in a quilt, for just a little bit, you can be comforted by that. And, I think there's children that look at their quilts, and some of them have blocks and they may be scrappy with all different kinds of pieces in them, all different kinds of fabric. Children will sit there and look at all those different pieces and run their fingers along them. And for the long armers, you look at the intricacy of some of the long arming. Sometimes we think it's just a squiggly line, but you can see a child running their finger along the lines of that stitching, or they turn over the back of it and all of a sudden there's cars that have been stitched into it, or flowers or something else. So, I think the quilters have a lot of pride in the work that they do and trying to make their quilts really special for whoever gets it. I started out as a piecer. I was a piecer at heart. Some people love to do the piecing part and really just want to make tops. So we do accept tops, but the long arming piece of it is really critical, because we would just have tops without a quilt if we didn't have long armers. And I get in my group, I get in over 800 tops a year. And so I would be lost without long armers. And so we are always looking for long armers. I think, we provide the top and the backing and the binding. And then you can decide on the pattern and the thread, and we'll ship stuff to you and wherever you may be. But that part of it is really important for us. If you're a long armer and you want to help, you can contact us through our email, quiltsbeyondborders@gmail.com. We have a lady that runs our email, and she will get in touch with you, find out where you're located, and then we'll put you in contact with either a coordinator that's close to you that will give you the tops and the backings to quilt, or we'll send them to you if there isn't somebody right close by. Then people go ahead and quilt them, and then we'll tell you the closest person to send it back to. I just want to thank everyone for watching. If you've got some free time and you'd like to do some quilting for us, we hope that you'll reach out. If you're willing to make a donation to us, we'd appreciate it. It would help us a great deal. We hope that you will be willing to share some of your time, your gifts, your talents with children here in the U.S. and abroad.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Wow. I hope that you all are enjoying all of the segments and demos as much as I am. So much wonderful work happening around the world and at the Grace Company. Personally, I really was touched by all of the charity highlights that we've seen so far. And it's just so touching and so inspiring. I'm thinking of quilts that I can donate. I know if you're like me, many of us quilters, we just have stacks and stacks of quilts that maybe we pull out once a year, or maybe there's something in there that you can find in your heart to donate to one of these wonderful charities. I'm sure someone will appreciate it, as we've seen in some of the stories today. Well, what are some of your highlights from this last segment? Was there something new that you learned? Was there something that you were inspired to try? Was there a piece of an equipment or tool that you got really excited about? Tell me. We want to know. We want to know what resonated, what spoke to you today. I just have to say, I loved the thread painting segment. Sabrina, that was beautiful. Wow. Oh my goodness. Who thought? I mean, and it's just really fun to see it all come together. You kind of see the guidelines, and then I'm like, okay, I see the thread and I see the trees, and I'm like, oh my goodness, just the layering. Yes, exactly. Just how it, you see the first layer, and then as the leaves started coming on, I'm like, I like where this is going. So C Whippler said the TrueCut cutting system. Yeah, really cool, right? All of those different variations of the different types of the cutters for whatever projects. We know that if you're cutting batting, especially if you're double up batting, you're going to want to use that 60 meter, or, you know, if you're doing smaller applique work, you don't need one that's big. Yes, the thread painting. Exactly. I'm with you, Gary. The thread painting was fantastic. Okay. And can we talk about who took the Grace Light quilt? Come on, guys. There's some shenanigans going on over. What is happening at Grace? Who took the quilt? Poor Janna. And look, she's on it. I'm hoping she finds out who took that quilt, because yeah, we want to know. So let's hopefully Janna is around. Maybe she can kind of shed some light, and then maybe you all can kind of put in the chat who you think. There's a lot of guilty people, Janna. They look,
There are.
suspicious. What's going on?
I know. I've got the forensic team on it. You saw some of that evidence we found. We're scouring the location. We've even gone out into the warehouse to see if it had anybody, but we think it was all the front office people. But we're going to get to the bottom of this, mark my words. So, but I just wanted to come back and make sure I was here in time for the giveaway that we're going to do in this segment. So this is, we're going to be giving away the Master Cutting Collection for TrueCut. So that is the 45 straight cutter, the 360 circle cutter, the electric sharpener, 5 packages of True Grips, the rectangle ruler combo and the square ruler combo, and 2 blades for the 45 straight cutter. And I'm going to throw in an extra 360 circle cutter as well. Not a cutter, but a blade refill, because you can only get them through. So I'm going to throw that extra one in there too for this winner of the Master Cutting Collection. Normally $299.30, free for the winner, but again, TrueCut is 25% off. Great time to purchase. Get it for stocking stuffers for all your friends and family. Help them see how fantastic your TrueCut product is, right? It's safer, it's more accurate, it's just perfect for what you're needing to do and get all that taken care of. But this is going to come for one of our pre-registration winners.
Right.
So if you've registered, again, you have to go to the Grace platform to pre-register for that, but let's give our giveaway. Yes. I want to do a drum roll. Ready?
All right, ready, drum roll. And the winner is Michelle Mangrum. Yay!
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for pre-registering, Michelle. You're going to get all this fantastic TrueCut product. You will be contacted by Allegra because it's a pre-registration. Allegra has your information, so she'll email you and verify that you're the winner, ask for your address, get all that done. But as a reminder, anybody else that has done bingo or other things, giveaways, email Allegra at graceframe.com so that she can get you those prizes and get them taken care of. But thank you, everybody. I'm seeing all these different suggestions of who it is that took the Grace Light quilt. I was in the middle of the thing and I just noticed it disappeared too, and it was just like, where did it go? So we're going to get to the bottom of this, but yeah, I want to make sure that everybody's watching.
I see a lot of accusations here, so let's see what pans out.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you, everybody. Keep your eyes peeled. I'm going to head out and continue to work on it. Kena, I will see you later on, okay?
Yes, thank you. All right. Well, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep the fun coming. We're going to move on to the next segment. We're going to see more demos, more great stories, and then we'll be back At the end of the day, now don't go too far because we have the big giveaway of the little rebel at the end and more bingo when we come back. So we'll see you shortly.
What do you mean there's a mistake? This better not ruin us. I can't, oh my gosh.
I don't like any of this.
Can we please not talk about it? I am so tired of hearing about the Grace Light quilt.
I knew that quilt was going to be trouble.
Let's just focus on our newest product, the mini quilter.
Now that's a product that won't give you any trouble. Hi everybody, I'm Julie. And
I'm Angelique.
And we're with the Grace Company. Today we're going to introduce to you our brand new product, the mini quilter. Angelique, you've had a chance to play with this quite a bit. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so it is a super light portable frame. It's just got like the perfect amount of space if you are using a domestic machine and you've always wanted to try free motion quilting, but you're intimidated, you're worried about like the cost investment. This thing will let you try it out and fall in love with it as much as I have.
Oh, awesome. So yes, this is our mini quilter, and it's mini because it's 27.5 inches wide and 29.5 inches long. You can fit any domestic machine on it that is an 8-inch throat all the way up to a 13-inch throat.
Yep. And even though it's mini, it has so many possibilities.
It does. You can do any size quilt. You can do as small as a table runner all the way up to a king size quilt.
Yes. It's a hoop frame, so you're going to quilt in zones. Well, let's kind of talk about some of the different features on this one, because some of our audience may be familiar with our cutie frame, and so it does kind of look similar to that. We have, just to make it more portable and easy to use, because it's smaller, you can sit down with it, but we have the handles underneath with a plate where we're going to put our machine on it, and they do adjust. I found that kind of moving them down gets them out of the way when I'm doing certain things, but if I want to, be standing, I can have them higher, that kind of thing.
Perfect.
We
need some weight on there.
Yeah,
we'll get that machine on
here once we get the machine on here. We have a different kind of strap. So this one, you're not going to have any tails that are in your way.
Awesome.
It just goes right up and
and
clips,
it clips
to
right
hold. Yes, and we
on,
have those on both sides. And then these, I know you're like, oh, you always
Yes, what are those
clamps.
special marks?
But we have different marks on here. So you can see the arrows. You want to make sure you're kind of lined up to the edge here. And this is going to show you how far based on where the carriage is going to end. And so you're going to know where some of your quilting space is in terms of that.
Oh, perfect. So it's going to lay out my area for me so
help
I know
you see
exactly
what
where
it
I
is.
can quilt. So this quilt can do 8-inch squares all the way up to 12-inch squares.
Yep.
Perfect.
And again, that is based on your
sewing
throat
machine.
length. Yeah.
Right,
so
right.
the less throat length that you have, the little bit more zoning you're going to do. But it's super fun.
I have been putting the cutie in my trailer when I go camping. But you know what? I think this is
trailer size.
This is going to be my new favorite because it's going to be so easy.
So I'm just putting it on 5 now. So you see how easy it was to kind of lift that up?
Definitely. So why are we raising this up?
So we have room to put the machine on, and then we can adjust it to the proper height.
Perfect. All right. So this here is our take-up rail.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of undoing 2 screws.
And you can take these off. It will just slide off.
All right.
I'm lazy. I don't like to take it all the way off. I just pull it enough that it's there.
I'm going to set our machine
and
on.
I bring this back just a little bit.
Okay.
So that we can
do up the clamps to hold it down. All right. Perfect.
All right, so that's on there, and then I'll just move that back.
Okay.
And watch these because you want one on both ends. These are a little bit more movable.
So they're removable there. So we just stick it right on, stick this through the slot, and stick our screw back in.
So easy.
ergonomic shape. You've got like just the perfect places to put your fingers. So it's not like perfectly round, right? Makes so you
Perfect.
can grip,
Yes,
right?
you've got some grip.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to take off all of our clamps because we want them to be
out of the way.
Out of the way. And now we've got some fancy fabric here.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you've done the new trick where you wrap it in a pool noodle. Everybody, it's a great trick. Keeps everything nice and straight. Now, when you're doing a small quilt, you can fit everything on to the area that you're quilting. But when I'm doing a big quilt, I'm going to work in zones. So I'm going to start on my left-hand side so that I can get this left-hand corner started.
And I can move my machine over so I can see where I'm going to start. So this actually needs to come this way a little bit more.
Perfect,
so that
because we're
in
going
line
to
with
run
the,
out of
the
room.
blue.
Okay.
And then we just want to make sure, I also like to give myself a little bit of space because trying to sew all the way here, especially with the domestic, you don't want to hit this bar, right?
So you want to be able to come down.
I would say maybe about there.
Okay, so we're
and
going
of
to
course
pull that
that's
up.
going to change a little bit as your roll gets a little bit bigger. And I think, does that look straight? Because I'm on the other side.
Yep,
of the
that
world
looks
here.
great.
And then make sure you get those arrows the right direction. So all your arrows need to face inwards.
And we want to get these clamps right to the end.
Right to the edge.
And
then
we
that's
have
when
a
you
reason
can
for
roll
that.
it and put your clamps on. And if it's like this is a little loose, it's just got these little slideys here.
And you can move this wherever you want. Now we like that this has been moved to the edge.
I like the edge.
So you don't accidentally sew over them. This is now out of the way. It's still holding your fabric, but it's out of the way
And it's
so
not
you
gonna
don't
hit
run
your
over
machine,
it. Right.
And then come off because it hit your
Exactly.
machine. Or, you know, mess up your stitches because you hit your machine.
Right.
So.
All right.
And then before we do the front, let's kind of check our height. So we got a lot of height here.
We do. So
right?
you just want to be able to put your fingers under there, and then you want to lower this just enough that just your fingers.
I'm guessing about maybe 3 or 2.
I'm thinking 3.
I'm on 3.
Okay, let's do 3.
So there are numbers right there to make it
Oh
easy
yes, there
to
are
see.
numbers. So you can see we're not just making those numbers up. All right,
Now
and then
let's
we're going
do
to
our
make sure that
fronts.
this lays nice and flat and straight.
Now I did pin baste this, but I did when I took it home to get to play with it, I did the method where you kind of lay your stuff on and baste this on separately, and it worked like that too.
Okay.
So you can either pre-base, pin base, spray base, sew base,
All right.
but it's already kind of nice and
I
ready
usually
for us.
do the gravity method and just stick it on and hope for the best.
Let's move this pin now.
All right, and then this one is your side.
Thank you.
All right,
And I
again,
did it already out of habit, but I don't know if you saw, but I twisted
I did mine
it.
upside down.
No, you didn't.
Oh, right way.
Yep.
So we want our arrows to face in.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So I twisted, and this is going to give me some more tautness, and because your quilt area is only going to go to, and I know I haven't lifted this yet, based about here. Even if this part's a little wrinkly, it's not
Right.
going to be a problem
Because you're
this
just
is
sewing
your-
here
yeah.
where it's going to
So
be taut.
that's
And
kind of
then-
actually really helpful in trying to set up the zoning.
Perfect. And I noticed that on the
Just give it
clamps,
that
they've got
12.
ridges here, and that's to help us ratchet those back a little bit to make it taut, right?
Yep. And now let's roll this up.
All right, we're going to get it out of the way of the handlebars.
And you could leave it on the thing if I wasn't so messy. And that would give you a little bit of control.
All right, so this is just to keep it all nice and out of the way.
I'm going to have to loosen these because right now this part is a little fatter. And then that clips there. I love that these are on the sides here.
I do
It's
too.
on
Now
the
you
sides
can
here.
move them in. You can also put it on at a diagonal if you feel like you just need a little bit more hold, a little more tight.
And one of the things that we also learned is because these handles are underneath, if you have a lot of fabric here, remember, you know, your quilt area doesn't go all the way to here. So you can easily just kind of roll this
And get it
up.
out of
and
the way.
if you have some little extra clips, like I fell in love with using like the beach towel clips.
Oh, uh-huh.
Because
And
I
mini quilt
I only have
clips.
2 hands
Yes.
and I need 4. And so
There
that's
you
not
go.
like 4. So you can just get that out of the way on both sides. And now look, whee!
All that
right?
room.
Lots of
Now,
quilting.
I'm
See how
noticing,
smooth it is?
Angelique, that I'm only getting so much room on the side. So let's explain to everyone at home. The base here, of course, it has about 2 inches on each side of the sewing machine. And we've made this plate so that, 100% of domestic machines can fit on here. But when you do it that way, you're going to have inches on the sides. So that's the reason why you can't get all the way over.
Right.
All right.
And that's why you want to kind of think about your placement.
Now, I have never done free motion quilting before. I have that, so I'm just saying that for you. How do I start? How do I know where my area is? Do I just take off and run? And if I hit the edge, I hit the front, I hit the back, I just ruin my design?
Well, we have come up with something that comes with this product, and it's a paper ruler.
Okay.
And what you do, and I don't have one to show you, but what you do is you put it on here. It fits exactly within the space here.
Okay.
And it's really cool because you can draw on it, get like, what pattern do I want to do on this quilt, right? So you can kind of draw, you can use it to kind of practice.
Okay.
And then you use your machine. You're like, okay, you're not doing any sewing. And then you're just going to, okay, this is my quilt area. And you're
Got
going to
it.
mark
So where
that.
it ended on this side.
And then I'm going to take it over here. I'm going to mark that. I'm going to take it over here and mark that. And across. And then you cut out that little window. And now you know exactly the
Where I
space
can
that you
sew.
have.
I'm not going to accidentally hit and ruin my design.
And because that is a thing that's like, you think you've got all this space, but again, it's really based on your machine.
Okay.
I got to play with it with my domestic machine. I mean, I do have like the setup with the Unique, and I love doing quilts like that. But I was doing a smaller project, and I never really get to quilt with my domestic.
Right.
And it
right.
was a lot of
fun. Yes.
Yeah, it was just like, it's manual, you're not going to have like all the bells and whistles, but it's a great way to learn and experience how wonderful free motion quilting
and
is.
it is a mini for a reason. It's a mini size, it's a mini price.
Oh, yes.
I have a 10-year-old niece who has just gotten into sewing, and I think the addition of this will get her into quilting, which will last a lifetime.
The first thing I did was like, I said, my mom likes to sew, but she just doesn't do it as much anymore. And I think she would love quilting.
Oh, yes, because it's just
quilt.
like drawing.
So the first thing I did is like, how big is the throat space? Because I want to send her one of these. Like,
I think it's
so
a great
excited
idea.
to share that passion with her.
Yes.
And I might like kind of sweeten the deal with, I'll come visit and show you how to use it.
There we go. You get a visit. And everybody knows that many things come in large packages.
Yes, the best presents are mini.
Well, that's all the time that we have today. Thank you all for joining us. And remember, the best gifts come in mini packages. Bye.
Bye.
There's nothing like a good product to make you feel better.
I just wish this whole thing was over.
Well, it will be soon.
This never would have happened if they'd just given me the Grace Lake quilt like I deserve.
What do you mean by that?
Oh no, I shouldn't have said that. I have to go.
Angelique wanted the quilt? I better go tell Janna.
Loose Ends Project is an organization that connects finishers of projects to people who have projects left behind by a loved one who was a crafter. We started in 2022 in August and became a nonprofit last year in May.
Both Jen and I have been asked by friends to finish projects that their moms had left behind. And we both wondered, what would this be like if we could encourage somehow strangers to do this for each other?
An example is Grandma was working on a grandmother's flower quilt for the new baby and did not get to finish it. We have somebody who will pick up that project, finish it for them, and give it back to the family so that that loved one can be remembered.
It was something that we thought about for a few years leading up to it and got all kinds of advice from people who'd been in the nonprofit world and people who were involved in textiles, and kind of listen to anybody who could give us some guidance on things we needed to keep in mind.
We have many projects where the intent of the original crafter might not be discernible, but we can make it something that the family will love.
Sometimes it's straightforward. Sometimes there's a pattern left with the project and it's very clear what was happening and there's enough materials left over and it's, mapped out and people know what to do. And sometimes it requires some improvisation, like whether it's with quilts, whether it's with sweaters where there's like part of it done and we don't know what was supposed to happen with the arms, or we don't know if it was a vest. And we have, with so many finishers, some are comfortable with that and some are not. And that's why we personally ask every single person, we give all the details, like how comfortable are you making this up, And some people are fine with it. We do find that most often the project owners are fine with someone stepping in and doing their best. So, and if that means making it up, we find a lot of times, both with quilts, actually with almost every textile that's matched, we will find that the stranger who steps in to finish the project will either mark the last stitch of the original crafter and then continue on, or will somehow change the material. So maybe use a slightly different color, a slightly different dye lot or something. So there is an actual indication of what was originally done and what was where a stranger stepped in to do the rest. And so rather than focusing on making sure everything is absolutely perfect and just so, which is sometimes works, we look more at what is the story of this garment or this blanket or this quilt or this tapestry or rug. What is the story? And that is also very beautiful. Like rather than having the perfect, rug, we can see where one person put their hands on it. And the beautiful thing is that strangers are doing just something very powerful for a family. And if that's evident in the finished piece, that's okay. And it's actually sometimes more appreciated.
And what we hope is that it's not just about the craft, it's about the connection. You've got people who are working together to come up with something that's meaningful for the family that's been left behind.
It is a tangible reminder of the person who has left. Every single inch of yarn has gone through their fingers as they've knitted it. Every single piece of fabric on that quilt has been pushed through a machine or held as they've sewn it. Their DNA is all over it, and it is a very real, tangible, and comforting object. And so to be able to take that out of a box or a bag that's in a closet because someone didn't know what to do with it, and actually make it something that someone can put on their bed or wrap themselves in is a very comforting thing to be able to offer to someone who's lost a loved one. It feels good.
We went from 60 finishers that first couple of months and 4 projects that were given to us by friends who are very trusting and loving, to right now we have about 28,000 finishers and over 2,000 projects. The projects are a little more squishy because a lot of these projects, as most of your audience will know, that craft bag usually contains more than one project. So that we're not really sure of how many we finished, because we get a lot of emails that say something like, I finished the project you gave me, but there were 2 more things, so I finished them as well. So we have a lot of add-ons that get done.
The last time we talked with Grace, we were privileged enough after that to welcome a whole bunch of new quilting finishers, which was amazing.
It was great.
It was amazing. And it actually gave us the power to be able to match more long arm quilters with projects that were left behind. And so that's been really that's been a game changer. Before that, Jen and I were a little bit more tentative about matching quilts because it's a lot of work. So some of the projects that come in, it's a thumb is needed to be put on a mitten, and it's going to take a half an hour, right?
Yeah.
We've seen finishers report that they've spent 900 hours on a quilt for someone else. So it's really a range in terms of time and energy and effort and everything. And we realize that especially with quilting, it can be a bigger ask of a volunteer to do.
Yeah.
Doing it for a stranger. There are just about 6,000 quilters who have signed up as volunteers with Loose Ends. And I'm a new quilter. I'm mostly a knitter. I'm a quilt curious, I call myself, and we're always learning. And so originally we were knitting, crochet, then quilting, and then slowly started to add more and more and more textile crafts to the list. We now have more than 30 different textile crafts that we will match. Quilting is up there in the top 3 in popularity. So of those 6,000 quilters who have signed up as volunteers, there are people who will say, I only ever want to do hand quilting. Some people say, I will only do machine quilting. I will only do quilt tops. I won't do the actual quilting. I like to do piecing. Some people are long armers and they will offer their long arming skills. So it is very specialized. Whenever we match a project, Jen and I are looking at the details. People's druthers, as Jen mentioned, but also really looking at the photographs that are taken of the projects that are left behind. We're kind of analyzing what's required. Sometimes we have to do some research. When it's something we don't necessarily feel like we're experts at, we will ask experts for their advice and guidance. We've learned a ton. Like, when does a quilt just need to be quilted by hand, which seems to be more rare?
One of the things that we're running into is sometimes these projects could be done by multiple people. Like, if you've got some squares, you could give the squares to multiple people, and there are some opportunities to have somebody manage that process as a group. Like, they could have 5 people working with them to put everything together, because some of these are so big that when our pool of quilters was smaller, we didn't have as many options. So we'd be like, hey, can you do this? And somebody would do it until they couldn't do anymore, and then we'd pass it to the next one. But even that's evolving now as we get more finishers and get more people in different places. Our big goal when we're matching people is to make sure that they're local, because sending stuff in the mail is scary. Not just for the post office, but anytime you send something that precious off to other people, it can be angst producing. So we're trying with 28,000 people, we have a chance to go very local. We've been able to match people blocks from their homes, and that's been pretty amazing.
A small story. Mom was killed in a car accident unexpectedly, and her best friend submitted her quilt to get finished for her 4-year-old daughter, right? It was really pretty too. It was beautiful. And so that was matched with a finisher, and now her little girl has a quilt that her mom was making for her, that she had helped pick out the pieces of. I mean, it's the colors and stuff. So it's that every day. It's that, multiplied.
I had one the other day where the craft was needlepoint, and it was a luggage holder. It was kind of an odd thing, but the story behind it was when the finisher and the project owner met up. The finisher had just moved to Arizona and had no plants in her house, and the finisher, or the project owner's husband, propagated plants for fun as his after retiring thing. So now all of her backyard is propagated by the plants that her project owner had. So it's about those connections as well. Like, people are making friends. They're becoming, they're learning about people that they wouldn't have met before, which is also pretty amazing. But the stories of the friendships are kind of amazing. Like, there's some people that I check in, I'll send a bulk email saying, hey, you need to check in with your project owner, let me know how you're doing. And they'll reply, hey, we're friends now. You don't need to call us anymore. I'm like, all right, just tell us when it's done. It's okay. I don't have to remind you. That's great. But just tell us when it's done.
Yeah. We hear that people are connected over a project, and that instead of just the finisher taking it, the finisher is giving lessons to the project owner, and they're working on it together. We hear that happens quite a bit.
Yeah. There's a lot of guilt. Like, there's a lot of guilt associated with that. I can't tell you how many people who are like, my mom always thought that I'd learn how to quilt. And it's like, and now she's gone, and I've let her down because I've been carrying this quilt around for, 10 years, 20 years. And one of the nice things about this is we find finishers who are like, yeah, I want to do that. That's the kind of stuff I like to do. And sometimes the project owners are really good at something else. Like, we had a lady make a cake. She makes death by chocolate cake. So to celebrate the fact that the project got finished, which was I think that was a knitting project, the lady made a cake for the lady who finished her stuff. So those kind of connections are nice, and they got to share that experience. If you want to do this with us, if you want to be a finisher for Loose Ends, you can go to www.looseends.org and you can sign up to be a finisher. Remember, there are 28,000 people, but when more people sign up, the better. We think of ourselves as like a Red Cross for crafting. I used to, in a different life, teach first aid, and I used to teach CPR. And I've taught probably 1,000 people how to do CPR. And I hope that none of them have ever had to use it. But I'm really happy with the fact that they're out there ready to use that skill if they need to. So you can sign up to be a finisher. You can go to our website and print out flyers that we have there in 20 languages. You can put up flyers in your neighborhood. The more people know about it, the more chance there is that a project will come your way. If you've got a project to submit, you can go to our website and submit that project. If you know a language that's not on our flyers, let us know. If you're a native speaker, we'd love to have you make a flyer for us. We have a donations page. If you want to support us monetarily, that would be great. We are a nonprofit, so you can get it's tax deductible.
So right now, there are 14 countries that have projects happening in them, and we have had finishers sign up from 70 different countries. So that means that the more languages we're able to translate our flyer into, and the more places we can get the word out, projects will come in from those places, and then we can match up finishers. So it's amazing to have 70 different countries show interest in becoming volunteers. That was one of the biggest surprises, I think, of this. Like, wow, we did not expect it to get so big, so fast, and so widespread. And that's been amazing. And even the fact that there are 14 countries right now with active projects is pretty amazing.
We didn't invent finishing projects for other people. People have been doing this since they've been crafting. What we came up with is the way to get people connected all over the place to get these things done, every day I'm kind of surprised, and I'm not surprised actually. Crafters are amazing. Quilters are amazing. People who do this as fun are really generous and great people. We had the most amazing thing happen last night. One of our people who signed up as a finisher, she doesn't even have a project, was on Jeopardy!
Alicia Buffa from Montreal is a translator, but also a very interesting volunteer. Tell us about that work you do.
Yeah, so I signed up it's called the Loose Ends Project, and what they do is they take unfinished handicrafts projects like knitting and crochet, quilting, and these projects are unfinished for various reasons, either because the person has passed away or they're ill, and they distribute them to volunteers who finish these projects for them. So it offers families a bit of closure.
That's amazing, and you pass it along to the family or whoever it is. What a wonderful idea. I've never heard of that.
And when they asked her what she does in her spare time, she's like, I signed up to be a finisher for loose ends. And she told, all the people who watch Jeopardy. It was pretty amazing. So it's a full-time job for both Macy and I. Last year, after becoming a nonprofit, we had a very big sponsor in Joanne Fabrics come to us and do Roundup at the Counter, which was fantastic. Grace came to us and allowed us to talk about our project in their spring fling that they did. So the industry has really gotten behind us, and it makes sense because our crafters, our finishers, and the people who get the projects are all their customers. So we've had a lot of support from the crafting industry, which has been great. So now Macy and I are employed full-time by Loose Ends. We are full-time employees.
We do this because we love people. We make things for people as an expression of love, and we want that to be finished.
I'm telling you, I didn't do it.
I didn't say you did.
I know everyone thinks it was me, but it wasn't.
Then how do you explain the exact thread from the Grace Light quilt on your shoulder? Plus, there's the salt and vinegar evidence against you.
All right. I guess you leave me no choice. And I'm not proud of this. But sometimes when I'm eating chips, I will go wipe my hands on the display quilts. It saves me time from walking to the kitchen for a napkin.
You monster!
I know, but I promise I didn't take the quilt.
Let's just get through this presentation. Hi, I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Anthony, and we are here to talk to you about our fabulous elite machines. I don't know about you, but they are my personal favorites.
I love them too.
Oh, thank goodness. We got two same-minded people here. Great minds think alike.
Yes.
So one thing that I will always highlight on these machines without failure on the first go-around is the help guide. I don't know about you, but I always put my manual in a place that is too safe to remember. And then, when I need it,
Then you lose it, you forget it, you have to Google it, and I love having this right here. I can't tell you how many times at home on my own machine that I've pulled this out and figured out, okay, I don't want to go find my tension guide. Let's go pop in here. Let's see what we need to do. And it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, and as somebody taking a lot of calls, I always get the question, are your machines, do they need to come in once a year for servicing? Can they be oiled on their own? How easy is it? Super easy. We also have this wonderful maintenance guide in here that shows and tells you exactly when and how to clean it. Before you get started, you'll come in here, pick whether you're going to oil it, and it'll walk you through each step so that you are ready to do it once you turn off your machine. It is my personal favorite thing.
I always forget how often I'm supposed to oil my machine, and sometimes I do it more than I need to, but in the end, it works out.
Yeah, as long as you're not going too long without it.
Yeah. You don't want a dry machine, oh no.
Yeah, and I know you said something about the tension in here. You can also find the troubleshooting guide. It will give you general and, long stitches. So if we're not here on the weekends, you're quilting late at night, you don't feel like calling our tech team, you don't want to go get your tension guide, you have access right here to try and fix these problems, which is so nice. I don't know how many times I've referred back to it.
I can tell you when I first started working here, I blamed the machines. I was like, why are there long stitches? This is so silly. They don't work. Turns out it was me. And so I needed to learn the troubleshooting of the skip stitches, the long stitches, to realize it was operator error. And I have since learned how to perfect that so that I don't have these issues anymore because of the help guide.
Another thing on here, and actually on the 16s and 19 models, with our models of our elites, we have a 21, a 16, a 19. On on the sides is actually printed out the instructions of how to thread them, but you also have it on the screen as well. Say you can't really, follow these sides, they're a little rubbed off, maybe you've had it 7-10 years down the line. Easy to jump into preparing your quilt. It helps you choose your needle, helps you really zoom in on how to thread that machine and how to use the bobbin winder on the back.
Which can sometimes be tricky, especially with the 21, where it is our best of the best. It's our elite machine. It does not have a thread guide. It's a clean, sleek machine, and so sometimes I forget these tensioners. They're all different because the machines are all a little different in their operation, but having the thread guide in here is fantastic.
Oh yeah, I've referred back to it more times than I can count. You think after 2 years I would figure out how to thread these machines? Don't trust what I say.
No.
Trust the machine, not me.
Yep. And these get updated as well. So when the machines have updates, these guides will be updated as well.
That is great information. All right. I don't know about you, but my next favorite thing is in this toolbox here.
I love the toolbox.
Which
tool are you asking about?
Okay, I'm gonna start with my favorite one, bobbin estimator.
Yes, I love the bobbin estimator. It is a little different than what you would see on your domestic machine, where your domestic might yell at you or have some sort of light that says, hey, you can't sew anymore, you're out of bobbin. This is an estimator, so it tells you when you might be out of bobbin just based on how much you put in there. So if I have a mega bobbin or an M-class bobbin, I can put that in there and label it, so that way I know and I can go back to that and keep resetting it. Then you can also do it with your smaller bobbins. If you have a smaller project, you can say I put about 77 yards on this, and you can put it in, and then it will reset, and your bobbin, let's make sure it's turned on. It'll turn green here. So as you use it, it'll start to turn yellow and tell you, hey, you're almost out, and then it'll turn red and say, hey, you're on that last leg, which is great, especially when you're using automation. Because you never want to have to run out of bobbin in the middle of a row and then get stuck there and have to use pattern repair to go fix your pattern because you ran out of bobbin. Having that bobbin estimator on there helps so much. I love it.
I know. I feel like my bobbin, when I'm using automation, decides to run out the second I think it's okay to walk away from it, and I got to come back. So I love having that, especially, automation, like you said.
It's great.
Another thing I absolutely love on here is our project lifetime. I think about it kind of like car mileage. You can set it for the trip, but overall it shows the lifetime mileage on there. So you can see for each project you do how much stitches you're doing, how long it takes you, whether it's just out of plain curiosity, you're doing your own business and selling this by the stitch, or by how long it took you. It's a great resource to refer back to, and I know I enjoy it, even though I'm not selling my quilts. I just like to know how long each project took me, and the lifetime is great just to know over time, how long have I actually used my machine?
Yeah, it's a great way to find out if you're buying a used machine, how many stitches are on there. You kind of know what's going on with that.
Yeah, I think it's great. We want to pick out in our next one.
I'm going to talk about the measure tool.
Oh, yes.
I love that because I am silly sometimes and I don't like to measure my quilts when they're off the frame. So I need to know how wide it is. I can set that up and have the measure tool tell me exactly how wide it is from point A to point B, or maybe I need to measure a block and see kind of where I need to place my pattern, things like that. The measure tool is fantastic for that. You can change it from inches to centimeters, whatever your preference is, it's up to you.
I don't know, I just started my first quilt. I just finished my first quilt top,
Yay.
and I did not realize how useful that measure tool would be, because I wanted to make it 100 by 100, didn't quite make it. So I'm gonna need that measuring tool quite a bit when I start getting on that quilt top for the actual quilting to make sure my designs are nice and fit in that area. And I want to say, speaking of fitting in a certain area, we do have a wonderful thing called edge warning.
I love the edge warning. It's so nice, especially when you're working on a project that's going to be a self-binding project. It keeps you from going off the edge you set, and you can keep that nice straight piece.
Yes, it is going to be a light and a sound, and you can turn one off or the other so that it's not flashing lights and beeping sounds at you. If you just want to hear the noise or you're really locked in and you want to see that light go off, you can set it a 1/2 inch or a full inch away from where you want your edges to be, just so, hey, you're getting in that 1/2 inch, it's going to flash that light, it's going to make that sound, let you know that you are getting to that area.
Exactly.
Which I love that you can do the 1/2 inch, because I like to get as close as I can before it starts letting me know.
As close without not going over.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right, and last but not least, we do have a nice little calculator on here, which may not seem like much, but it is very useful in the moment.
It very much is. I cannot tell you how many times I've been trying to figure out how many blocks do I need to put in, how many rows do I need to put in, things like that. The calculator is amazing. My brain runs on math, but it doesn't do basic math very well. And so I use the calculator all the time for stuff like that. When I'm in the quilt, in the zone, I can't even tell you how many times I've used that to just figure out what my measurements are, how I need to divide things up, how many 1/2 inches I can put in, how many echo lines I can do, things like that. The calculator is fantastic for.
It is going to be your best friend. All these features are available on our Elite machines, the 19, the 16, or the 21 inch. We have X's of the 19s and 16s, but I recommend going up to the Elite because you do get this wonderful 7-inch screen with the help guide, with all of these features, bobbin estimator, everything like that. It's, again, relating back to a car, it's almost like different trim levels. Yeah, you can get the basic model, but you know, you want the leather seats, you want the sunroof, you want the measuring tool.
Yes, yes. This is the machine I have at home. It is fantastic. I've used several other different brands of machines, and by far the 19X Elite is my favorite that I have used. And it's just a great machine. It gives you the throat space you need. It has that thread guide. It has everything you'll need in a machine.
I don't know about you, Sabrina, but now I want to go take one of these and start quilting.
Let's do it. I'm so excited.
All right. Bye.
See you guys later.
I'm sorry.
Don't talk to me, you defiler of art. Anthony, wait. I think I found some information that can clear your name.
What is it?
Well, I was going through Jenna's old emails.
Allegra, didn't HR already warn you about that?
Hey, at least I don't use quilts as napkins. What? But that's not the important thing here. Take a look at this.
We better go tell Janna about this.
Are you looking for the perfect gift for your sewing family and friends? Hi, I'm Angelique and I'm going to show you the new mini quilter, which is the perfect gift for your sewing friends. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to make this holiday inspired project, our little stocking, and then take some of the leftovers of the fabric and make some fun ornaments. For this project, you are going to need a completed quilt top, which we'll talk about in a little bit, some backing and batting. We do recommend 8 inches larger all around for hoop framing of your backing and batting. You're going to need a little bit of extra fabric for making a little hanger, and if desired, if you want that fuzzy top like I did on that one, some leftover minky or faux fur. You're also going to need a template. I just traced a template that looks like a stocking to me on some plastic so that I can reuse it. You're going to need to be able to cut, so some TrueCut rotary cutters and the 3x18 ruler, erasable marking pen, some prepared double fold bias binding, which is a 2.5 inch that I started with. And if you want to make the little name thing like I did here, I just got some of this glittery foam stuff for that. Now you can do any size quilt that you want to do on any kind of hoop frame, but with the size of this frame, smaller projects are better. So for the best experience, I really wouldn't do anything larger than like a lap size quilt, just because you are going to have to move a lot, you know, with the zone quilting and all of that. you can kind of see about what space I'm gonna have for quilting. And that is all gonna be dependent upon your throat length, okay? So knowing that, I know that I only need to have the front part really smooth. So I'm lazy and I'm going to just roll this over here. And I'm probably gonna need to do some height adjustments, which I will do once I get my quilt on here, and I'll show you how easy that is. Okay, and I'm going to take these clips. I like to make sure these are on the edge here, which are gonna help me hold up my roll as it gets bigger. So if you can see, all of our little clips here have markings on them, which you can slide around and move so that you can help visualize where your quilt area is. The arrows all should point in towards the quilt. So I'm gonna start by putting this one on here. And again, this is all I'm doing right now is just putting on my backing and my batting. Remember, you know, for best experience, use 8 inches around for both your backing and your batting that is larger than your quilt. I'm trying to use up some scraps, so I cheated a little bit, but I also know that I'm not going to quilt all the way to the edge, okay? And then I can put on my fronts, and I'm just gonna do this temporary again, arrows always in towards the quilt. Now this is gonna be temporary because I do still have to put my quilt top on, but this is gonna give me an idea of height. Before I base the top of my quilt, I can make all those adjustments. So I'm not really gonna worry yet about putting these on or anything yet, but we will get to that. Okay, so I should be able to get in here with my finger just barely, and I can, so this height may be good as is. But if I do need to adjust this, especially as my roll gets larger, it's really easy to do. There's a little knob here, and there's a knob here, and 2 on the other side, and you just slide up or down where you want it to go. And I'm just gonna base the top just to kind of help me hold this down, and then I will get us completely secured. Now that I've basted this a little bit, I'm gonna move it over this way, and then I can finish basting on this side and get started on my design. Moving is really easy. I'm gonna start with just sliding, and you can just kind of pull this to where you want it to be. And we'll pull this a little bit more, because I wanna get right on this edge to get started. All right, so I've got that location. Like I said, I wanna move it up a little bit. So I will do that. Just kind of roll it. All right, so let me show you how these work. So like I said, I like to have them on the side so they don't get in the way. I'm just going to roll that up a little bit and tuck that in. If I need less space, there's a little adjustment thing here, or more space, I can loosen that up. But then I can also turn these so I can visualize those markings that we talked about. All right, so we've got that secured. Let's go ahead and smooth it out in the front and clip our front bar on, give it a little twist to straighten out. So you can see on the left side here, I'm a little short, and like I said, you can use the bungees, and so I'm gonna just slide one of these off. So I'm just gonna put my clip upside down and then slide this on. I'm gonna have the flat side away from the quilts. And then I'm gonna just take my bungee, the cord here, and just slide it through and put the stopper on, because that's what's gonna butt up against that. And let's get this close to where I want it. And we're just gonna grab that edge, give it a little tug, and that's just gonna help hold things for me. On the other side though, I've got plenty of overlap, so we're just going to use our clip. Remember, arrows towards the quilt, and that's feeling really good. And now we're ready to roll up this excess here so we can get to our handles. And we are ready to quilt. And I'm just gonna do a real basic meander because I'm gonna be folding and cutting this anyway. I love swirls. I always say I'm just gonna meander, and then before I know it, I've got loops in there. And just watch your speed. because you're gonna need to control this. So I've gotten to all the space that I have here, and so I'm going to slide my quilt back this way, and then we'll work down. Ooh, maybe I'll do a little snowflake. I'm getting close to the end of my quilt area. Work my way down, and I'm gonna move my quilt up now and do the next quilt zone. All right, so I'm just gonna continue quilting, get this all finished, and then we will get to assembly. So I finished quilting. And so the best way to find the halfway mark is, because remember I did 7 total, is to take the one that's in the middle and fold it in half. And then I'm going to place this template where I plan to sew it. And I'm just going to trace around using an erasable marker. And I'm gonna figure out about how much lower I'd like to go for putting the initial. I'm just gonna do 1 letter just to give you an idea. And I'm gonna put it back on the frame. I cut out a little piece of the sparkly foam paper that I wanted to use. And I traced, in this case, just an initial. If I want to have something larger, then I would do it the whole space and write out like the name or initials or nickname or something like that. And since I'm only doing 1 letter, I'm just going to center this on where the stocking's going to be. And I'm just going to trace a couple of times around the letter. If you need to cut it to get it started, but it's pretty much just going to tear away along where you did the stitching. Depends on how it wants to behave. And I could come and do it again, which is what I'm gonna do now that I have my final shape. And you could do it with matching thread. I just used what I had here. Kind of like when you're doing rough edge applique. So I'm gonna fold it back again like I had it. Now there's 2 ways that you can do this. I decided that I wanted to bind the outside, so I faced the wrong side or the back side or the backing to the inside, okay? But if you would rather like do a zigzag stitch or bind on the inside, then you would fold it the other way. It reminded me a lot of like those already made ones that you can get at the store that have all the candy and stuff like that. And I just thought it was a fun addition. We just want to go back to that number 4 and get it folded in half. We want to smooth it out and pin baste it to hold all the layers together. I want to pin close to the edge, but not so close that the pins are in the way when I go to sew. Just make sure everything's flat. If you have any extra batting, make sure that batting's pulled out of the way. Now it's going to be a little short on this side to put on the frame. So I'm going to start by putting it on this side, and I'm going to add a leader. Make sure you get both layers underneath or you'll end up sewing on a layer. You could use a ruler here. My machine doesn't have a large base on it, but there's enough of there if I need to use a little bit of ruler. I'm just gonna free do it. Make sure you leave the top unsewn because that's gonna be your opening. Now I just need to come around this curve here, finish it up. I just was a little too tight on this side. And we'll have an assembled stocking. All right, so now we're ready to take it off the frame, take the machine off the frame, take the frame down, and finish. All right, so now we're going to trim it out and add our 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I'm using the 60 because this is a lot of material. There is no seam allowance at the top. That's our opening, so I'm just going to cut right on the line. Now we have our stocking, and I'm going to add what's going to be the hanger. All I took was a 3x8 piece of fabric. I folded it in half, folded my sides to match up my center seam, folded it in half again, folded in half again, pressed it really, really good. And so before I put this on here, I want to make sure that it stays secure, so I'm just going to do a quick about 1/8 of a stitch just to lock that in place. And I'm simply going to place it on the edge here, and I'm just going to sew back and forth a couple of times. And then this is going to get covered by the binding. If you want to add the fur, the faux fur that we have here, then you're not going to want to bind the top. You're going to leave that open because the fur is going to cover that. But if you're like, I don't really want to add the faux fur, then you're going to bind the top as well. So I would bind down the sides here and come around and then finish. So this is bias binding, 2.5 double folded. My fur is going to be covering this as well, so I can actually cut this flat. Or if I'm doing the other binding, that binding would finish it off as well. Because it's double fold, my plan is to just have to sew it once. I'm just gonna line that up, push it against the edge, and clip every few inches. And then the reason I did bias is because it's cut on the bias, so it's a little stretchy, which is gonna allow me to stretch around these curves. You might find as you're sewing, even though I'm kind of pre-clipping, that I'm gonna have to kind of pull and tug to add the stretch more where I need it to be, and as it kind of moves. I'm gonna leave myself just a little bit. I am sewing both sides, so I'm sewing directly on the bias binding. Gonna adjust the hole as I need to as I go around those curves. Remember, that's why we're using bias binding. All right, so now we're going to cut off our excess now that our binding is secure, so it's flush with that. And we're going to turn our stocking inside out. And I'm going to sew this on the inside, and then I'll flip it on the outside and then top stitch to get it down. And I'm just going to overlap it, about 1/4 of an inch to create a seam when I sew it together. Now, when I sew this, I am getting right up against, but not over this loop, because we're gonna be able to tuck the loop through the opening that we leave when we finish off the fur. And as you come to your seam allowance, pick a side that you want to push that over and flatten it. And then same thing as we get to the other side of the loop. We're gonna get right up against it, and then we're going to back stitch, but we're not going to stitch over it. And I'm just gonna eyeball, I'm probably gonna cut a little bit more than 1/4, just so I have plenty of room. Okay. And we'll flip it back right side out. So I took my long piece here, and I made sure I had a piece that I cut about 1/2 inch on both sides to give me a little bit of space. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the right side, so the fuzzy side, against the wrong side here. And I'm gonna butt this needle up against, but not covering my little hook, because when we get done, we're gonna be able to tuck this through the hole that we leave. As I come to the other seam allowance, I just need to decide which side I wanna push it to. And I wanna push it towards the back. That's gonna help flatten that out. Now I'm ready to close this up, and I definitely want to give myself about 1/4 of an inch to the edge of the actual stocking. Now we're ready to turn our stocking right side out. And so, like I said, there's going to be a little hole there. Can you see my finger? And this is where I can push the hanger part through, so it'll be on the inside. And then I just need to fold over my faux fur. Get it lined up where we want it. If you feel the need to pin, go ahead and pin, but I'm just going to, it's over enough, I'm just gonna top stitch to stitch it down, and because it's furry, it's just gonna get covered, my stitching is gonna get covered by the fur. And then this one we will go all the way around. And as you do go around, this is when you might have to adjust to make sure that your minky or your faux fur is where you want it to be. And we'll flatten this seam down as well. And we're done. So we have our completed stocking. I did have quite a bit of material left over, so I decided to make a few ornaments. You can get images from online. You could use cookie cutters to trace. I just drew these things directly on the fabric that I was using. I just got my shapes. I found kind of where I wanted the pieces to lay. I traced around it, I took it to the machine, I sewed it, and then I cut my seam allowance. These are micro serrated, so they will fray a little bit, but not a lot. And I like that little bit of frayed look to it. So that's what I did for the bell and for our Christmas tree here, the candy canes, the stars. I did the extra fabric folded up. For the circle ornaments, I used our 360 cutter, and I did 2 circles, but this is pretty thick. So this is when I actually opened up the extra areas, and I just cut 2. So I cut a circle and cut a circle, and then I put them together, right sides together, and then I sewed and then cut my seam allowance if I needed it a little bit smaller, turned it inside out, tucked in the edges there. And then I want them to have a little extra something to them. So I had some buttons, and I got some of these different ribbons to use, and that's what I made my little ties, cut some little fancy ends, added real bells to my little bells here, and so on, and just made a selection of fun ornaments with the leftovers. That way I didn't waste my fabric after I cut out my stocking. As you can see, the mini quilter is fun and easy to use. So if you've been looking for that perfect gift for someone that you've been wanting to share the love of quilting with, family, friends, the mini quilter is the perfect gift. Mini size, many possibilities. The mini quilter. I'm gonna finish decorating my tree with the fun ornaments that I made from the leftovers. If you want more information about the mini quilter or this project, you'll find it on graceframe.com.
All right, let's close this thing out with a bang.
This is going to be great.
Stop right there.
Janna, what are you doing?
We have a few things to cover before we have the presentation of the incredible accessories package deal. This all started with the kidnapping of the Grace Light quilt. We only had a few clues to work with, 5 different suspects with 5 different motives. Anthony clearly hates quilts and the art of quilting, so he took it so he could use it as his own personal napkin. Angelique, she coveted the light quilt. She wanted to use it for herself. Angelique drooled over the Grace Light quilt like Anthony drooled over salt and vinegar chips. Allegra thought that the quilt distracted from our incredible products. And so she probably took the light quilt so there wasn't a distraction. Janna, you are from marketing, and marketers are always scheming and plotting and analyzing. And finally, Mark, you probably took the light quilt so that your winter market would outshine mine. So how did I crack the code, you ask? Well, I couldn't have done it without Allegra and her knack for snooping through other people's emails. She revealed a plot most devious, most terrible, a scheme most foul. Not 1, but 2 of our suspects colluded to steal the Grace Light quilt, and I have the forensic evidence to prove it. You see, within the fibers of the scarf, I found a single hair. And when I presented it to the forensic team, they told me exactly who it belonged to.
Well, I mean, Janna has long dark hair.
Exactly. Our first culprit is Janna. And who was she emailing to come up with this sick, depraved heist? Mark.
Well done, Janna. You got everything right. Well, almost everything.
That's right. I took the Grace Light quilt. And let me tell you why.
Mark and I knew we needed to up the ante from last year's winter market, and when I found out that this year's winter market would land on Friday the 13th, I knew a mystery would be perfect. We're always trying to keep our audience entertained, and the only crime I committed was trying to provide a good event. So you see, Mark wasn't trying to sabotage you, he was trying to help you.
Well, I guess that makes sense. I just wish you would have kept us in the loop sooner. But as the Grace Light quilt is back, and the mystery solved, all's well that ends well. I'm gonna go hang this up.
Now, can we continue the presentation?
Yes, of course.
So Jenna, this is an amazing accessory package deal.
Right? It's valued at over $1,300. It is just so much. Everything you see here.
That's right. So when you buy a machine, you get what you see in front of us, $1,300 worth of accessory package. I love it all because it's everything you need to do your quilting, from cutting to sewing to keeping things from sliding.
Right.
Everything, right?
You get everything.
Everything you need. So let's go ahead and let's talk about everything they get. Let's first start with the blades.
Okay.
I love our blades.
It's a 5-pack.
Yes.
Yeah.
5-pack of blades that you get in this. You also get some of the accessories for your circle cutter. So you have 2 blades that come with your circle cutter, and everybody, they either enjoy circles or they don't. Our circle cutter is the best.
Right. I feel like if you're doing applique and a lot of applique, the circle cutter helps so much. I use it all the time.
I love that. They also get True Grips.
Let's talk about them.
I love True Grips. You get several packs of True Grips. These are rubber adhesive rings that go on the bottom of your ruler to keep from sliding. The best, because now you cut easier, safer, and you're more accurate in all your cuts.
And you can also use them around the house for random things.
Yeah, I love that. Other things that keep from sliding is our mat. We have a non-slip pad.
And what does it come with?
It comes with a 24 by 36 large,
the biggest mat we have,
double-sided mat. I love these two together. First double-sided mat, you can now cut on both sides. When one side gets going, you get the other side. Very easy to use, very easy to read.
Self-healing.
Self-healing.
Great. Love it.
Also, the mat will want to slide, so you put that underneath your mat to keep from sliding.
Perfect. Okay, let's go into our comfort cutter.
I love our comfort cutter.
Right?
You love our comfort cutter. I know you use it all the time.
Love it, because even though I don't look like it, I have arthritis, and it helps so much with my fingers, especially my knuckles when they hurt.
That's right. So you have the ergonomic 45 comfort cutter that you can personalize the handle. I love that.
Right?
That is perfectly paired with all of our rulers.
And our rulers have this really amazing tracking guide system that is easy, safe, and accurate. All of our rotary cutters come with the track, and it slides up and down the ruler so that you don't go sliding everywhere and cutting off your finger.
Yeah, that happens. People nick their fingers all the time. So
I did that.
Arthritis, you nick your finger, you need the system.
I know.
If you cut like that, you need the system. So when you buy, again, a machine, you get all of this. So you can get the 45 comfort cutter with our ruler. Not only does it have the tracking guide, but also has our holes in there. The holes are great for seeing through, for marking, just phenomenal. And we have several different sizes of rulers that you get in this package. I love the larger one.
Right? Me too. I use this one most often. Definitely.
That's the most common one. You also got another rectangle one. You have the squares. So you get the 6.5, 9.5, and 12.5 square ruler.
Right.
Very, very popular.
And then what about these other ones?
Also becoming very popular are the triangle rulers, and they're different triangles for all your different projects. Also with the guide as well, easy to read rulers. So all of our rulers that you use with our 45 comfort cutter, you cut easier, you're going to be safer, and you'll be way more accurate as you use all those rulers.
Right.
Okay. So I love the thread.
Okay.
And I know you love the thread too. And we get a variety pack of the thread in this package as well.
It works so well with our machines. It is 100% polyester with a look and feel of cotton. And so it meshes a lot better into your quilts instead of, you know how some of the polyester is kind of not sparkly. What is the term I'm looking for? You know what I'm talking about? A lot of the polyester thread is shiny and it doesn't mesh into my quilts really well, but this stuff does. And it doesn't break.
Yes, perfect. Like we said there, it has a look like cotton, right?
Right.
When you use it. But you have a variety pack from variegated to solids, 16 thread.
which lasts you forever.
Yeah.
And if you have a whole lot of colors, you can use it for all your quilts.
Yeah.
See?
It's 1,100 yards per spool. I love that.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, let's keep going on.
Let's do it.
We have our quilt clips. Okay, our quilt clips. You need the pink set of quilt clips. These are 2 inches. These are used for many different things in your quilting. Stabilizers. If you are sitting down to quilt and you have all your fabric you want to roll up, these are great to roll your fabric up when you're sitting to quilt, and you can use those to stabilize your fabric around your quilt top. Really good on a rolling frame. Yeah. Again, if you want to float, you can put these on there. Really anything in your sewing room that you want to stabilize. Really good around your cones. Cones can unwind themselves, right? Again, great package. Use them for anything that you feel necessary, but great stabilizers. Use them really, really well throughout your quilting journey. But you get 2 packs of these.
And there's 12 in each pack?
Yes.
Yeah.
12 in each pack. So you got 24 small pink quilt clips.
And pink's my favorite color, so it works.
There you go. Okay, sharpeners, Jenna. Sharpeners, they're one that someone always asks.
Actually, let's start with this one.
Yeah, that's our manual sharpener, okay? These work, and the reason why these work, it uses the same key ingredient that we use when we sharpen anything, stones.
Yeah.
Okay, has a stone in that one, a stone in this one. Our manual sharpener, this is perfect to keep on your cutting table. So as you're cutting all of your fabric, okay, and you're getting some of the flat spots, it's getting a little dull, run that through the manual sharpener to bring your blade back to a near factory sharp edge.
Right?
Okay,
we got the stone on one side.
Stone on one
And
side.
so
when you sharpen your blades are 2-sided, so you're gonna make sure you do both sides. So when you go down one side, you flip it over into the other side. I love that one.
Right.
But the electric sharpener,
this is the big guy.
if you kept your blades in a container, this is perfectly used for that. Bring your blades back to a near factory sharp edge. Blades cost a lot of money. So not only, again, do you get a 5-pack of blade in this package deal, you also get 2 sharpeners, one for your cutting table, one that you can use on quilt retreats, sharpen other people's blades, sharpen your blades, use them, bring those blades back. I love all of that.
And you get all of this for free when you buy a machine.
That's right.
And also with our machines, you get a free frame as well. So you get the whole quilting setup.
Package.
And what's the last thing that these folks get?
Lighting, right? We want everyone to have our light bars. LED lights, perfect over your cutting table, perfect over your frame.
I thought my sewing room had enough light in it until I added one of these babies onto my machine, and now I can't quilt without it.
Yeah, it is.
It is amazing.
It does lighten up your area. So you never have too much light.
Right, let's
Bring
just
this
turn it
into
on.
your...
Off. Whoa.
There you go. Bring this into your room. Use it with all your quilting needs. The light bar is just phenomenal. Easy to set up too. It's on casters, so you can move it around. I just love the light bar because it's just light and you can move it wherever you want to move it to.
Right.
But I love the light that's true LED, true light, because it helps line up your fabric, your colors.
Yeah.
And it's just easy to use that way.
And what I love about it too is you could have it rolling on the ground, or you can, there's a setting where you can put it on a table and it just won't move. And so you can, it's a little bit shorter.
So this entire package, we already said over $1,300 of stuff.
It's a lot.
From True Grips, keep your rule from sliding, all the rulers you need, the 45 ergonomic comfort cutter.
All of the sharpeners you need, ton of finesse thread and quilt clips. It's really everything you need to just get started quilting.
It is. That's great. I love that. To get started quilting, we give you everything. Just for buying a machine, you get all of this to help start quilting. I love it.
Right? And especially if you're new to quilting, by getting this with a little Rebel would be perfect.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
You can never have too many rulers. You can never have too many blades. You can never have too many of what we have in front of us, and you get all of it. I love this package. It's a phenomenal package that you can use at any given time when you do your quilting journey.
And wasn't Winter Market just so great?
Winter Market was so awesome. It is sad that it's done.
I know. It was seeing so many great deals wrapped up in a little mystery. We did a great job.
I love that. You're amazing.
We
Nice
did.
high five, by the way.
Thank you.
I love what we did. I hope you enjoyed our show and found a few holiday gifts to brighten up your spirit. From all of us at Grace Company, thank you, and we wish you happy holiday.
We'll see you next time.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. And thanks to all the entire Grace Market team and educators for showing us such wonderful demos and product demos and sewing demos and sharing all those wonderful stories. I just had an amazing time today. I hope that you all enjoyed it as well. Each segment had something great to offer. I just loved the demonstration on the mini quilter. It's so cute and so reasonable and so within reach for the new quilter, the quilter who has a domestic machine and wants to get into free motion, or even the experienced long armor who just wants a smaller, second, more compact or travel frame. It's just fantastic. And I was just really blown away to see how many things that you can do how many projects you can work on it. And I loved, of course, seeing the Elite machine. I have the 21X Elite. So being reminded of that toolbar, I completely forgot that the manual was right in the screen. So I will be using that more often instead of digging around trying to find my manual, but it was just wonderful. So let us know what sort of things that you all enjoyed, not only in that last segment, but in the whole show. And just kind of let us know what you think, and what you enjoyed. And we finally solved the mystery. Oh my goodness, where is Janna? I'm sure she is happy to finally have that solved.
I know, right? The little stinkers.
Oh, those
right? They just couldn't let us have a great mini winter market. We had to have a mystery too. Yeah.
Those stinkers. But you know what? Once I heard sort of, the why they did, I was like, oh, okay. I'll forget. And who could be mad at Mark and Jenna? Like, you can't stay mad at them. So
it's true. It's true. They had the best interests ready to go. They just wanted to make it so great, but we've got the light quilt back where it's supposed to be. We've got to see so many great, like you were saying, so many great segments, product demonstrations. I love those patterns that we've got going on. And so if anybody's wondering, how do I get those patterns? They're on the Grace platform. You can download them now. You don't have to wait until the re-showing of the segments that are going to be after this. So have that opportunity. It's going to be really great.
I'm really excited to do that project. And while she was doing it, I was like, oh my God, I have so many charm squares, like the 5-inch
right
pattern. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, I wish I would have seen this maybe a week earlier. I could have done them for all my coworkers at work. But I'll do a few and, make them as gifts. Those are perfect gifts, and it was so quick.
Yeah, and to do it all on the mini quilter, right? I loved watching that. And I have the box here because I wanted to show everybody how light it really is and small, that you can pack it up, right? It's got a little handle on the top, right? It's so good and so easy and just really nice to take with you for those smaller projects. Like they were saying, I saw people in the chat talking about it. They were saying guild meetings. They were saying take it on your camper, take it to your cabin, just put it in your fifth wheel, all the different ways that you can take quilting with you, that if you have a long arm, even if you have a cutie, it just makes it just a little bit more accessible having the mini quilter.
Yeah, it's very exciting and just like game changing for the whole quilt, all quilters. There's, if you want a free motion and get that long arm, it's so affordable and so economical space wise. So really cool. So I know we have some giveaways and promotions, but should we do a little bit of housekeeping? Just some reminders before.
Mm-hmm.
So just for those who joined us a little bit later, we want to remind you that beware of scammers. Grace will never give out your information. They will never ask you for your personal information. So if someone reaches out to you on social media or via email, uh, don't believe them. Or if you want to double check, email, call, and we'll be able to verify if it is indeed Grace reaching out to you.
Yeah, and here's the one that just came to me recently. I had placed an order, right? It's Christmas time. I've got orders through everything. I have so many places that are supposed to be coming to me, and I got a text that said the manufacturer of your product, it has run out and wants to give you a refund. Click this link. Yeah. And I was like, which manufacturer? Which which company is sending me this? It was totally a scam, and it was a text. So they're just sending it to random text and hoping people click that link and then they have access to everything. So yeah, just be really careful at this time. They're wanting to get you.
Yeah, be careful. And also, so social media, if you want to follow us, speaking legitimately, you can follow Grace on Facebook at Grace Company Quilting, on Instagram at Grace Company Quilting, on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Pinterest. And you definitely want to follow us, because then you'll get the notifications for when we have these events, and then you can pre-register so you can be in the running for those really big, cool giveaways.
Yeah, like the mini quilter this morning, and then the TrueCut travel cut master cutting collection. Whew, that's a tongue twister in the back of your throat. And then we're giving away a little Rebel later. So yeah, when you want to get a chance to pre-register for those events, every time we're having our event, make sure you're registered for them so you can get into the running for all those fabulous prizes.
Absolutely. And then leave us a review. We love to hear what you think, and we love any feedback. Especially, we introduced the new 2.2 line of Finesse threads. and
the mini quilters.
So we're looking for feedback. We love to hear what you're working on. We love to know what you're working on. We want to hear, how it worked for you, so that others who are looking to buy and have questions have your review right there to reflect on. And then as you're doing that, head on over to the Home Base Quilters Facebook page and share your stories.
We love hearing about all your experiences as home-based quilters. We want to hear from you, and sometimes we select those segments in our future events and highlight them. So we'd love to hear about you as a home-based quilter, because you do so many amazing things, right? Like, that's how we found our wonderful charity segments, from people who were interacting with them. And so we want to hear about all that you're doing as a home-based quilter.
Absolutely. And you mentioned it earlier, but we're so excited that this replay, the post show, you can see this again right after this. It's going to be up and live, so you can go to YouTube, or if you're registered on the Grace platform, you can stop now, you can pause, and you can work right along with some of the wonderful projects and demos that were presented today, and you can work right along with them and make your projects. Do that wonderful thread paint project, the stocking project, and learn more about the mini quilter and all of the other wonderful products that are offered here today.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So one of the new products that they talked about at the very beginning, and then we've kind of highlighted it at the end, was those new Finesse thread colors. So if you didn't catch that in the segments, it's new variegated and a lot of new solids. So a lot of our old colors have gone away. We've come out with just these new colors because they were ones people were asking us about. Browns, right? Sabrina talked about those more variegated brown colors. We have some more greens that are bright, like Kelly and different things. But watch our advertisement. We're going to be doing some other fun stuff with thread. So you can go to our website or our dealers' websites and check out the colors, all the new ones that are on there. Everything new is up on the website, so don't miss out on that. And then, of course, the mini quilter. Another new fantastic. I love that we had 2 segments on that as well to really see what is possible with that mini quilter.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about the threads. I'm excited about the mini quilter. I'm excited about all of the cutting tools. I'm just like, I want everything. I want to buy everything. And, you know, now is the time. We have
really
all of those
is.
specials going on, even on the website.
Yeah.
Right?
So right now, yeah, I want to talk about TrueCut first. TrueCut has the biggest discount because it's such a perfect stocking stuffer. 25% off all TrueCut. That's the mats, the non-slip pads, the rulers, which is the rectangle, the triangle, the circle cutter, all the comfort cutters, all the straight cutters, all the sharpeners, all the blades. And when I say all the TrueCut, I mean all the TrueCut. So if you have a combo that you've been looking at and thinking like, oh, maybe I'll get that combo, but I'll have to get piece by piece. Well, now you've got 25% off the whole thing so you can get the combo all at once, get it shipped in time, take advantage of that discount. And again, it's not just with Grace Company. You can go to all our dealers and have options to get that discount with them as well. And then our next discount is the QCT6, our Quilters Creative Touch Automation. We have the basic package that is edge to edge, the plus, that's the select and sew section and the edge to edge pantographs, and then Pro that has those more design features, and then we've got the gold card. Now people ask, like, can I use gold with edge to edge? No, you have to have Pro to get that gold subscription, and the gold programs are a year subscription. I loved what Allegra and Jenna were talking about, all the different things with automation. If you didn't get a chance to really look at their segment, watch that again. It's really, they explain everything. And you can go from edge to edge all the way to Pro with an upgrade. That's also 20% off. So if you've got the edge to edge now and you've been thinking, well, maybe I should get Pro, take advantage of the 20% off. It's all the way through December 31st. These 2 specials, the 25% off on TrueCut and 20% off QCT6, they go through the 31st. So take advantage of them now. But the rest of the site has a special sale, an additional 10% off that runs from today, the 13th, all the way to December 23rd. So just in time to order before you get to Christmas Eve, 10% off. That's your rear handles, that's your ruler bases, your hopping foot sets, anything that you've been thinking, gosh, maybe I should get a second one. Or maybe I should get something that helps me along, right? Extra quilt clips or a bobbin case assembly, some extra needles, bobbins, all those extra pieces, including Finesse, is 10% off from December 13th all the way to 23rd. But the TrueCut QCT6, those are on special sale, the 25 and 20% off. And then the Mini Quilter, it's on pre-order. So it's not part of that sale as well. So make sure you've got everything planned out with what you're going to be working on. So you want to get advantage of those specials before they disappear, because they will disappear. And then you'll think, why didn't I take advantage of it?
Get it while it's hot.
Yes, get it while it's hot. Yes. I also wanted to talk a little bit about our special that we've got coming up. I'm not our special, but our grand prize giveaway. It's a Little Rebel. Now, we're not going to give it away just yet. I want to wait. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Little Rebel. We didn't focus on it too much. It's been our straight stitch machine. It came out last year. It's a single stitch. It doesn't have any fancy stitches like zigzag and stuff, because it's meant to be your piecer, right? Your straight stitch powerhouse, 1,600 stitches per inch. It can go from push quilting to with your presser foot to then you can put it on a frame, all these things. 13 inches throat space, 8.5 inches harp, $3,499.95 value. Its special right now is just $26.99, and that is, you know, a great time. So if you're thinking, well, I need a piecer, it can work with the Mini Quilter or the QD or the Q-Zone hoop frame. So don't miss out if you're thinking, well, I have to spend a big budget to get that Little Rebel at the same time. So definitely, so we're going to continue talking about some other specials, But I just wanted to point out that little Rebel is still a fantastic deal right now. If you're thinking, man, I need a piecer for Christmas as well as a quilting frame, or I'm gonna get that and use it with a frame, or I'm gonna get that in as well as a unique machine, you know, just back and forth, all the different specials that you can take advantage of.
Yeah, absolutely. That is such a powerful machine and so versatile and so affordable. So, and I love the flexibility of it, of how many different frames that it will work on, and you know how it just converts like from a piecer to a long arm depending on whatever setup you have. It's really a wonderful machine.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, that 10% off, that works with the little Rebel, that works with all our unique machines and frames. So if you've been thinking, wow, now's the time to upgrade to my machine, it's a great time to do that with extra 10% off. If you've been thinking, wow, I have this older frame and I'd like the new Evolution Elite frames with those metal ratchets, 10% off is a great time to do that. If you're thinking about, wow, I would love to help somebody get into quilting, right? A grandchild, niece or nephew, your own kids, the mini quilters are a great way to do that. Get them started, get them just their feet into the waters of quilting. Start them on the journey and then help them take off, right?
Yes, exactly. Reel them in while they're young.
Exactly. Well, I have a question for people about, so I want to do some bingo stuff. So I want everybody to get prepared, get your hands close to your keyboard, because I think some bingo questions we've got going on. So the first one I want to ask is, when does the 10% off special end? What date? So we're gonna let everybody start working on that, and I'm going to pick, now we're gonna pick a winner from YouTube, from Facebook, and from the platform.
Yes.
So our prizes, we've got a couple of different prizes. We've got, if we got a red ball, we've got our triangle ruler bundle. If we have a white ball, we have our 45 millimeter comfort cutter. If we take a blue ball, it will be the 45 straight cutter. The yellow ball will be the rectangle ruler bundle. And the green will be our square ruler bundle. So everybody get your things in. We're gonna pick here what our special is gonna be.
Coming in, Janna.
And roll away.
Oh, and a roll away.
But it's green. So green is our square ruler bundle. This is with the True Grips. You get 3 packs of True Grips. The 6.5, 9.5, and 12.5 inch square rulers. Now those have the lips all the way around it. So no matter which direction you're using that square ruler, the cutters will help guide you with it, and then you've got that True Grips on there. So, okay, we're gonna pick our winners from our 3 platforms, right? We're watching on YouTube and Facebook and our Grace platform. So let's see, which one should we pick first, Kena?
Let's go to Facebook.
Facebook, all right, let's see who our winner for Facebook is.
Charla!
Congratulations, Charla! Yes, December 23rd is correct. The special for the extra 10% goes from December 13th to December 23rd. And the other specials go through the Thursday. Yeah, 10 days.
10 days.
Don't miss out, yeah. Because you're gonna have all these things happening. Just do it today, so you don't have to worry about it. You know, don't think, because the faster you get to Christmas, the shorter time you have. Okay,
all right, let's see
next.
Instagram.
Okay, let's do next our platform.
Instagram.
Oh, no, our platform, because Facebook is Instagram on this one.
Oh, okay, all right. Grace.
Sue Martin, congratulations.
Well, it's not Grace. Wait, we're on Grace.
We're on Grace, yeah. Congratulations, Sue. And finally on YouTube. Sandra, yes.
All right.
Congratulations. Now, all 3 of you, if you will put an email to allegra@graceframe.com, she will get that information from you of where you would like your prize sent. Now, you don't have to ship it to yourself. You can use it as a present for someone else. That's not a problem at all. Just when Allegra emails you, just make sure that you're giving her the information of where you'd like it shipped. But yeah, Kena, do you have a question for a bingo prize?
I do have a question
Okay.
for a bingo prize. All right. This requires that you were here pretty much the whole time. The question is, there were 3 charities that were highlighted during our winter market event today. What?
3 amazing cry-filled charities.
Yes, cry-filled
Segments.
charities. Let's ask for 1, right?
Okay.
So,
Not too hard, not too hard, yeah.
so out of 3, give us 1 of the charities that were highlighted in our program today. The name of one of the charities. There were 3. We'll take 1.
I was thinking, I don't know if I could remember all 3, but luckily I have a piece of paper with them written on here so I can remember.
Yeah, we have a cheater sheet.
Good thing I'm not trying for the prize, right?
And we're going to pick winners, 1 from YouTube, 1 from Facebook, and 1 from our platform. So we're just letting those come in. And I see them furiously coming in.
I know, I see some people answering all 3 even. They're doing a good job.
They're like, look, don't play with me. I was here and I was paying attention.
I know. Yeah.
I know. Okay, so.
Okay, well, while they're all coming in, let me put this one back in.
We'll see what our prize is going to be. We're going to see. Okay, so.
Okay.
White ball, if it's a red ball.
Woohoo! We have a red ball. So we've got our red ball. That is the triangle ruler bundle and 3-pack of True Grips. That's the 90-degree ruler, the 60-degree ruler, and then you can see there on the right is the kite ruler, which has a 60-degree, 90-degree, and 120-degree. Again, they have a track all the way around. All 3 sides or all 4 sides have that ruler track so that you can do your perfect cutting with the True Grip system. But okay, so our winner, let's start with the Grace platform first.
Okie doke.
Who is our winner on that one?
Brenda
Carroll.
All right.
Congratulations. So yes, the ones that everybody put in there was our Quilt Beyond Borders, our loose ends, and I lost my last one on here.
Wrap the world.
Wrap the world with quilts. Yes. So good job, everybody. Okay, let's do YouTube this time.
And our YouTube winner is Belinda. Yes, with loose ends.
Yay, Belinda!
Yes,
Woo,
congratulations.
she got the good ones, loose ends. That was a fun one to watch.
I love that. I'm just like, oh my goodness. Can I cheat and like just send them unfinished quilts, or does it have to be a quilt for? Okay, all right. I was just like, unfinished quilts.
I've got a lot of those. Yeah.
Couldn't finish them. Okay.
That was a great one. Okay, and then our last one with Facebook.
Our Facebook winner is Jonelle. Yay! With
Quilts Beyond Borders, correct. And Wrap the World with Quilts, those 3 charities, such fantastic segments. Again, if you would like to donate to them, you can go to their websites. We did put those in the chat at the time of the segment, but you can go back to the Grace platform and there's a link there to donate. Now, what it will do is it'll take you right to their website so that you can get that money right into their hands, or you can ask them questions. You can sign up to do, like with the loose ends, you can sign up to be one of their quilters or crafters for those events. But yeah, you can go and connect directly with them. But for all our winners of our bingos, remember to email Allegra@graceframe.com so that she can get you that correct prize to the correct address wherever you're wanting to ship. But email Allegra@graceframe.com so she can make sure she's our prize coordinator. And it's funny, she'll take on other projects and I'm like, are you ready yet to move on and not be the prize coordinator? And she's like, no, as long as I'm with Grace, I want to be the prize coordinator. She's like, it's so much fun to send prizes out to everyone. So that's one of her favorite parts of the job, is being the prize coordinator here.
Thanks, Allegra. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think, Jenna, is it time?
It might be time. Let's see, what were we gonna do? We were gonna do a giveaway. We're gonna do a giveaway on the Little Rebel, but really quick, I just wanna remind everybody of times, right? 13th through the 23rd is the extra 10% off the week, off the site. So that's true with our dealers. So any of our Grace dealers is an extra 10% off as well for our products, as well as on our site. So you can go to both places. If you have a dealer in your area and they don't carry our product, give me a call, give them a call and say, I want you to carry Grace stuff. Jana, I want them to carry Grace stuff so we can coordinate with them, and then you can go down to your local shop and pick it up. And then also, as a reminder, for TrueCut, the automation, those extra specials, 25% off and 20% off, those are good for the entire month. But don't wait till the end of the month. Get them now before you get to be your own Santa. I saw a thing recently where the person said, I really wish my loved one would buy me some extra quilting supplies. Me being my own loved one. You got it, babe.
Yes, be your own loved one.
Be your own loved one. Get your presents right now, yeah. You know what you need. Yeah, you know what you're missing. You know the supplies that you need. Be your own loved one and get the supply that you need for Christmas. Because if you get it now, maybe you'll get it before Christmas and then you can finish more quilts, right?
There you go.
Yeah. So, okay, Little Rebel giveaway. I think we should do it right now.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so as you can see it right there, 13 inches of throat space, 8.5 inches of heart space. You can see the start and stop button. You can see the plate that covers the feed dog, so you can switch back and forth between the hopping foot and the presser foot. It's got the speed control. So this is one thing I love, is that you can set the speed control. So if you've got a kid who likes to just press that foot down really hard, or a person, an adult, it's set so that you're not having to try and back up on the speed. But $3,499.95 is our fantastic grand prize giveaway. But don't despair. If you don't win, you can still purchase it for the discount, for the extra 10% off. So don't miss out and don't be sad, because you can still get it, okay? Don't be sad. But for one person, it's going to be super happy that she's got it already, or he's got it already. So let's have our announcement of the winner of the Little Rebel.
And our winner is Susan Baum.
Oh, congratulations, Susan. I think she's probably jumping up and down for joy, even though we can't see her, that she's so excited. So Allegra will contact you, Susan. Yeah, Susan, we will have Allegra contact you to get the correct address. Again, you never have to keep any of your gifts yourself. You could always send them to someone else, although why you would do that unless you have it already, right?
Right.
But congratulations to all our winners. And thank you all, everyone who's joined us today and all the time. Thank you for being part of our Grace family. Thank you, Kena, so much for hosting today. Really appreciate it, as I was busy with Winter Market and the mystery. I really appreciate you. I hope you have the best holiday season coming up. Do you have any super fun plans going on?
Yes, I do. I'm going to quilt. I'm going to catch up on some projects. I am teaching and vending at Road to California in January.
Oh, excellent.
And also at QuiltCon in February. And so I'm putting kits together. That's what I'm
wonderful.
spending my Christmas doing.
That's your Christmas doing? Well, you can follow Kena on all her social media handles. She is on Facebook at Kena Quilts, and then on Instagram at Kena Quilts, and then you can go to her website, www, although I don't know why we say www anymore, but KenaQuiltStudio.com. Yeah. But thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We really appreciate you. We appreciate you coming and spending time with us and having so much fun quilting and just being part of this community. I really appreciate it, and we hope you have the best Christmas holiday season.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays from us to you.
See everybody next time. We'll see you